Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Regalia.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Muthama Agnes Kavindu.
having been elected member of the Senate, do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I will faithfully, consciously discharge the duties of the Member of Parliament. So help me God.
Okay, order, senators.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Okay, what's your point of order?
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, just before your communication, I know it is not provided for in our standing orders as they are now, but I would want to plead with you, you use your discretion so that you can allow members to welcome and pass their congratulatory message to the newly elected member for Machakos, even if it was just for 30 minutes, Mr. Speaker.
I was going to do that, but the communication I want to make is related to that, so I'll allow. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of the Honorable Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, EGH, former Vice President of the Republic of Kenya and party leader of the Wiper Democratic Movement, Kenya. He is accompanied by family and friends of the Senator-elect for Machakos County, Senator Muthama Agnes Kavindu, MP. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I welcome them to the Senate. I thank you. Senator Kamar Margaret.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for giving me the first opportunity to congratulate my sister and the new senator for Machakos, Senator Agnes Kavindu. Mr. Speaker, we congratulate the 4th woman senator to be elected in the Republic of Kenya. Congratulations, Agnes. We've watched the campaign that took place, a very vigorous campaign. But Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the people of Machakos, the Wiper Party, for a very peaceful campaign. being the party that is led by a former vice president, of course, we expected them to be peaceful, but our former vice president really displayed a lot of elegance and peace during the campaign as a party leader, and we want to thank him for that. I want to thank our fellow senators, the senator of Kitui, who is also my student, the senator of Makueni, for representing this house throughout the campaign period. I stand as one of the women who prayed for her, who really thought about her throughout the campaign period, because we were looking forward to having the 4th woman senator elected. Mr. Speaker, we welcome her, and the road is not as bad as some people put it to be. Senate is a place where you should be. Devolution is the way to go in this country, and we need the voice of the woman in devolution, because most of the areas that have been devolved are areas that touch on the vulnerable, like agriculture, health, touches on women, it touches on youth, and these are areas that Agnes, as a pastor and as a minister of the word, has been doing through the church. So we really want to congratulate her, and I don't want to take more minutes because I know very many members would like to welcome her. We welcome you to the house, and I can tell you this is a house of reason, this is a house of debate, and you'll enjoy it. Welcome, Senator Agnes Kavindu.
Since that was my deputy, I have given her longer time because the interest is a lot. So the rest, please try to condense what you want to say in about 3 minutes. Wambua Enoch Kilo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also join my teacher, the Deputy Speaker, Senator Kamara, in congratulating the Senator of Machakos, Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama. Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by thanking the Almighty God for making this happen, and happen in the manner that it did. The Speaker, Senator Agnes Muthama, is a God-fearing leader, a leader of distinction, and I'm very sure that the people of Machakos will be well and ably represented in the Senate, that she will stand firm to uphold the dignity of the people who have elected her to the Senate, and that, Mr. Speaker, she will move forward with the rest of us to secure the aspirations and the needs of the people of Machakos. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank you for your communication on the visitors and the distinguished guests that we have in the Speaker's Gallery today. I thank my party leader, His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Senior Counsel, for leading such a dignified delegation to witness the swearing in of a party member into the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to tell our colleagues across the political divide, the time for the campaigns is over. Now it is time to work. And as a Senate, we shall stand firm, Mr. Speaker, in solidarity to assist and aid our new member to be able to deliver on the mandate that has been given to her overwhelmingly by the great people of Machakos County. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I congratulate Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Adendulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to welcome my sister, Senator Muthama, to this house and congratulate you in a big way. Number one, let me take this opportunity to thank the President for actually supporting her candidature. Number two, our leader, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, he has really stood with her even with all the intimidation by so many other people, and that is really what women go through when they go for elective positions. But I can see from the way you have fought, you are a real leader, you are a strong woman, and the sky is the limit. And I'm sure you will be able to fit in the shoe of our former colleague, the late Senator Kabaka. And I've seen the confidence in you when you told Governor for Machakos that I'm going to make sure that I've carried out my overall oversight responsibility, which is really a good sign. So mine is to say welcome, and I think the country is now sure that women can be able to be elected to those positions, and we have actually met the 2/3 gender rule in this house, which is very good. You can welcome to this house. You will be able to achieve a lot and make sure that you have delivered your responsibility as an elected senator for Machakos. Karibu sana. Thank you.
Okay, before we proceed, I would also like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of the following dignitaries. Honorable David Murathe, Vice Chair, Jubilee Party. Honorable Wavinya Ndeti, CAS. Honorable Peter Maluki, newly appointed Secretary General, EAC. Honorable Mawathe, MP, Embakasi South. Honorable Stephen Mule, MP, Matungulu constituency. Honorable Edith Nyenze, MP. Honorable Joyce Kamene, Women Rep, Machakos. Honorable Mwalio, MP, Masinga constituency. Honorable Robert Mbui, Deputy Minority Leader in the National Assembly. Senator James Orengo.
Speaker, let me also join my colleagues in congratulating Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama and say the following. Mr. Speaker, I want to assure Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama that this is the right and correct house for her, and she's part of this distinguished family. And I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because during the campaigns, my heart was won by her in the manner she conducted the campaign. Indeed, she demonstrated that there's a place for mature, issue-based politics in this country. When some people tried to go low by personalizing the campaign, she called those people to order and made them focus to the campaign that was going on at the time. And I want to say that it's not without significance that we are welcoming today the distinguished senator from Machakos when in the neighborhood a lady has been enthroned as the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I am not taking this coincidence for granted. And I can assure you that you will have better company in this house than any other house in the Republic of Kenya. Any legislature in Kenya, this is the right place to be. Secondly, we are making history that we are becoming the first chamber to, not by nomination, not by constitutional device, but by elections. Through a direct franchise, we have been able now to have elected women senators, not just in Machakos, but yours is like the icing of the cake, because it comes at the time when we're having this controversy of how to empower our women colleagues, because they are the majority in any country, anytime, anywhere, and you can check that out whether it is true or false. Secondly, I want to congratulate the Wiper Party for having faith in women. Because they have shown that actually when you nominate women, even in the most controversial elections, they can win. So long as that elections is conducted with dignity and on issues. And it is not coming by way of a coincidence, because I know that the Wiper Party, even in that same county, they have put a lady as a candidate for the position of governor, and that is not the only such example from the Wiper Party. Finally, Mr. Speaker, she's coming to this house at a very critical time. And you know the role that she has played. She has been part and parcel of the review of the Constitution. If you look at the report of the BBI, her name is there, and her performance in terms of looking at our Constitution again, she has contributed immensely. So I know that we have a voice to guide us through this great debate that we're going to have on the review of the Constitution. I wish you well, and I think they are happy there in the clouds that a lady of God, if I may put it that way, because she's a pastor. And now there are two of them. One of them is looking at me. I was not going to leave you out. Yeah, and of course the senator from Bomet, and there's a senator from Kitui. But in the order of significance, because even in the church they have hierarchy, I think today we have a better spokesman for the faith, the Christian faith in this house, and Wambo and others will follow. So, Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama, I want to assure you that I'll be one of the people listening to you, because I've heard you when you are wearing the other hat. And as a family person, because I know you care. And for the distinguished delegation that has accompanied you, led by the Vice President, to me, this post of calling people former, as far as I'm concerned, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is the Vice President. That title never goes. And what you are doing out there in the region maybe is what visited you when you were firm that the candidate for the Wiper Democratic Movement Party will be Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mohamud. But before that, I also wish to acknowledge the presence in our gallery, the Speaker's Gallery of Honorable Kalembe Ndile. Feel most welcome. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me also join my colleagues for congratulating the new Senator for Machakos, Senator Agnes Muthama, and congratulate her for being elected as the Senator for Machakos. Let me also congratulate the people of Machakos for electing her, and for that matter, electing a woman. In fact, Mr. Speaker, in this country, I think we should do away with this tokenism for women. When women are only nominated, they left a slot for nomination, because on their own, women can be elected. And in fact, parties in this country must be able to nominate women so that, they are fielded as candidates for election. This idea of, even if you look at the proposal of the BBI, look at the Constitutional Amendment 2020, I think we are, making ground for nominations instead of making ground for women to be elected into Parliament. Because you are doing away with the 47 women MPs in the National Assembly, and subjecting these women to be nominated, at the behest of parties and party leaders. Let me thank you for being elected. We were elected as congratulate you for being elected as a Machakos senator. We'll work together because we work with your former colleague, Senator Kabaka, the late Kabaka, very well. He was a very strong member of this House. And in fact, in the team that we are together, Team Kenya, that actually fought very hard for revenue allocation to counties, he stood out as a leader for this country. Despite Machakos losing money, he stood with all of us that actually were losing, so that we are working together as a team. Congratulations and welcome. Count on our support. On behalf of Mandera people and myself, I congratulate you once again. Thank you.
Senator Khaniri. Then after that, you'll allow me to be biased, to allow the women to talk so that they also welcome Senator Khaniri. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity. But just before I join my colleagues in welcoming the newly elected senator for Machakos, allow me, Mr. Speaker, to join you in welcoming a distinguished Kenyan, a man that I have immense respect for, a man that I worked with in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th Parliament, and we did so much together politically. His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, together with the powerful delegation that you've led to the Senate this afternoon. Welcome, Your Excellency. Mr. Speaker, I join you in welcoming the newly sworn-in senator for Machakos. Kudos. You put up a very good fight. I was following your campaigns. As James Orengo says, as others went low, you insisted that you'll remain high. You were in the right place. This is a house where we do very mature debates, and as you've been told, you are in good company. Mr. Speaker, with the election of Senator Muthama, I think Senate now achieves the 2/3 gender in the House, Mr. Speaker. Even if Justice Maraga's ruling is to be upheld, then Senate will not go home because we have achieved that. Mr. Speaker, the win for Senator Muthama is not just a win for Wiper Party and the people of Machakos, but is a win for the women of this country. You have demonstrated that women can do it. That was a very hotly contested election. All eyes in the country, all attention was focused there, and you emerged victorious. It is a clear demonstration that women can do it. I just want to advise you, Madam Senator, that you are stepping in very big shoes. The shoes of our departed colleague, Senator Kabaka, who was my desk mate. He used to sit here with me, a great debater. And we are confident that you will fit in those shoes properly. So we want to wish you well, wish your party well. By the way, Mr. Speaker, Wiper, as many other parties are struggling with the 2/3, Wiper is the only party in this House that has 50-50. It has 2 men and 2 women. So it is 50-50. So congrats to the Wiper Party for achieving that. And we just want to wish you well in your new journey as the senator for Machakos. We are here to support you and to guide you as hold hands in this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Halake, if you keep it short, then we'll...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also join you and fellow senators in congratulating my sister, Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama, for her win, which is our win as women. But also let me add my voice to those that have congratulated the party leader of Wiper Party, our Vice President, Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka, for giving a woman a chance to fly the flag of the Wiper Party. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. And this goes to show when a woman is given a chance, she will deliver, and she has delivered. Mr. Speaker, as the chairperson of the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, I want to congratulate Wiper Party, and I want all political parties to take a cue from the Wiper Party leadership and make sure that their flags are flown by women. And what we have seen from the elections and from these by-elections, Women are weaving their ethics into the complexities of politics and are emerging with mature politics, like had been said by my fellow colleagues. So, Madam Senator, congratulations. You did it in your style, in a fashion that will be emulated by our girls and women, and we welcome you to this house, and I know you will do very well here, just as you've done during your elections. I thank you, and welcome again.
Senator Wetangula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I join you and the House in congratulating distinguished Senator from Machakos, Agnes Kavindu Muthama. Allow me to join you too in welcoming my distinguished brother and bosom friend, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, with whom we have worked very, very closely for a long time, and all the dignitaries accompanying him, including Mr. Kalonzo, who has been on the streets of Nairobi playing street politics for a long time. Mr. Speaker, I participated, it's called Kalonzo. Mr. Speaker, I participated in the campaigns for Mrs. Muthama, together with my brother Kalonzo, together with Senator Mutula Jr., Senator Wambua, and all the leaders who are in the gallery. What touched me most, Mr. Speaker, is on the day Mrs. Muthama presented her papers, the first post-presentation rally, she stood in front of a mammoth crowd and said this: I know you people have a lot to say against my former husband, Senator Muthama. Remember, he's the father of my children, and I don't want to hear people bastardizing him. Mr. Speaker, it can't be greater than that. It can't be more humane than that. And she kept that faith. When we campaigned for her, Mr. Speaker, you could see, you could feel, you could hear that this is a senator-elect destined for good things. And as we welcome her, I want to encourage her, Mr. Speaker, that this is a house of vibrant debate. This is a house where you have to have a sharp knife to bring money to your county. The late Senator Kabaka distinguished himself fully in this regard. He even abandoned a gain and joined those who are losing to bring more gain. And indeed, he did that. So, Mr. Speaker, for the women of this country, and for Wiper Party that has given Mama Muthama the ticket, women can actually be elected if the environment is right. Mr. Speaker, my party has a distinction of having the only county, Bungoma, that nearly met 1/3 women or gender requirement by having 13 elected women out of 45 wards. You and I know this, Mr. Speaker, and you know there is a young girl, we gave her a ticket before she graduated from Must University, and she went and defeated 16 men. So, women of Kenya, don't wait for tokens. Pull up your sleeves, face the men, fight gallantly. There are many of us who will stand with you, by you, and move with you to make sure that you get what you deserve. Not as tokens, but as of right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Linturi. Okay, then. Senator Bashir, what's your point of intervention? Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want, with a lot of respect and humility, congratulate the Senator for Machakos, Mrs. Agnes Kavindu Muthama. Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to tell the women fraternity and to give them advice that, Mr. Speaker, being a woman is no disability. Being a woman, you have equal power, you have equal strength to that of a man, and what men can do, women can do better. Mr. Speaker, this House, through the election of Madam Agnes Muthama Kavindu, just like I think Anidi said, we have now been able to acquire the 2/3 gender reality or requirement. And for that matter, Mr. Speaker, I must encourage the women out there. I must also encourage the party leaders, like to be able to learn from His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, who I served with in this parliament, who was my friend when he was vice president, to know and always prioritize the nomination of women to run for various positions in this country. Because if all of them were like Kalonzo Musyoka, probably will not be in the problem that we have today in terms of being to fulfill the 1/3 gender requirement, Mr. Speaker. Those few remarks. Congratulations, Senator Agnes. Welcome to the Senate. I am sure you are equal to the task. And always remember, just like the oath that you've taken says, you always pay allegiance to the people and the Republic of Kenya, that you owe the people of Machakos that responsibility, that allegiance, to serve them with dedication and to ensure that what is required of them, what is required of you as the senator, is done. Pongezi sana.
Senator Beatrice Makori.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I take this opportunity to welcome and congratulate Madam Kavindu Muthama for joining us in this House. And let me take this opportunity to congratulate the Machakos citizen for electing a woman. Indeed, this is a great day to us, to this House. And I said, as I say always, what a man can do, a woman can do better and more and more. Congratulations, Madam Kavindu. Thank you.
Senator Rose Nyamunga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to join you and my colleagues in welcoming Senator Muthama in this House. I want to thank God very much because this is the doing of God. Politics is a very hard game, and a woman competing amongst men is not a mean joke. We want to congratulate the party leader, Wiper party leader, former vice president, who is present here, to let him know that we are really happy with what you've done, supporting a woman in the midst of a lot of noise and useless talk that should not even come from men. We want to let you know that we respect you because you stood very firmly and you stood by your candidate, and today you have given us a woman of dignity to sit in this House. I want to welcome her and to let her know that she will never feel lonely in this House because some of us are here, Madam Muthama. And secondly, we have a very strong support from our staff. We have a very cooperative staff, very strong, very educative, that within a very short time, you will be swimming. You will not be walking in this parliament. You will be swimming, and the main agenda in this House is to represent the people of Machakos. Senate is about the people. It's about the devolution, to make sure that devolution works and that the people of Machakos get what they deserve. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Faria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to join you and my other colleagues in congratulating Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama for a resounding victory. 85% win is not a mean feat. I tell you, how many people came here with 85% win? I'm sure very few. So I congratulate you. I also wish to congratulate Wiper Party and your party leader, our former president, for allowing a woman to thrive. I congratulate him so much. Because women in this country, it's not that they're only not organized, but I tell you, I'm telling parties, ignoring women votes is a very dangerous trend because they are also voters and they are 51% of this country. So I think we should not ignore. And I also think that next time, when there is election for this country, let's look for the party that will make the deputy president at least a woman. That should be our minimum as women. And I think His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka will lead by example, I'm sure of that. And I think Machakos County has removed the notion that women are electable and that they can trust their vote with a woman and that we have capacity to deliver. And I wish to also request the people of Machakos to elect her again for the second term. Now that she just learns how to do things, next time elect her also so that she comes with great experience. And I also wish, something phenomenal happened in East Africa. We have a woman president. I think a woman from this region, every woman in this region, should be very, very proud of Suluhu, because she's now the president of Muungano wa Tanzania. So I am very, very happy about that as well. And I think even in Kenya, that is possible. So let us all as women and men work towards giving women opportunity and making sure that they are given nomination. Because this lady was able to conduct her election in a very, very dignified manner. Even with the problem of her, people attacking her, people saying all manner of things, she just ignored and moved on. And I think that's the kind of leaderships we need in this country. I thank you so much. Thank you, Your Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, for making this possible. Thank you very much.
Senator Musurve.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to join you in congratulating Senator Kavindu Muthama for being elected. And Speaker, I want to say that the election of Mrs. Muthama is a true indication and definition of what gender means. When we are talking about the issue of gender, we are talking about men, women, joining hands for a better future. And I want to thank the party leader, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, for deliberately ensuring that a woman gets the party ticket. And apart from that, walking the journey with her and ensuring that the men around her support her, rally behind her until she has delivered. It is indicative that when we join hands together with our men, men can choose to bring us on board, work with us until we are sworn in. And His Excellency has also come to confirm that you are being sworn in. And I want to tell you, as you come to this house, that this is a house that will really give you a lot of gratification. If you know exactly why you are here, in terms of legislation, you will love your job. In terms of the things you are supposed to do in representing your people of Machakos, you will actually be happy about the job that you've been given. Senator Kabaka was here and he delivered. He was able to debate, and I'm sure that you are able to fit in his shoes. So thank you very much. Congratulations for being in this house, but be objective in the fact that you have a reason to be here. and represent your people and represent them effectively. Thank you.
Senator Strila Wako. And honorable senators, please, let's observe COVID rules. Please, 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 please. This thing is real and serious. Senator Wako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this matter. On 13th January, I sent the following message to Senator Agnes. Congratulations on being nominated by Wiper Party to stand for the seat of Senator Machakos County. I wish you and pray for your success and look forward to welcoming you in the Senate. 13th January when he was nominated. And I had that confidence, Mr. Speaker, sir, because I've worked with her in the BBI. And I know she is very much issue-oriented, but more important, she was always very much concerned with what did the people say. When we discussed any topic, and she saw that we were going off tangent, she would remind us the people of Taveta said this, the people of Busia said this, the people of wherever said this, and therefore we should now go to what the people said, and we must provide a solution to the people. She is very much people-oriented and concerned with the welfare of the people. Also, I noticed, Mr. Speaker, sir, that when we toured the county of Machakos, she has grassroots at her fingertips, be they women organizations, but more important even, church organizations. They are all the time flocking towards her. So I had every confidence that she would be elected. And that's why I want to take this opportunity to congratulate His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the leader of the Wiper Party, whom, Mr. Speaker, sir, got part of his legal knowledge under the feet of Amos Wako. so I'm very proud of him all the time. I did want to congratulate him for nominating Agnes, but not only for nominating Agnes, but also for nominating Wavinya to stand for governor, although she did not go through. But it shows that he's very much sensitive to gender issues. And if you had more leaders who are sensitive to gender issues like that, we will not be quarreling over the 2/3, 1/3, be it in the Senate or the National Assembly. And maybe in 2022, let political parties take cue from the Wiper Party on this matter. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I welcome you, Agnes. Continue to work the way you used to work in the BBI, and I'm quite sure the people of Machakos will realize, will know that they have made a very good choice. I must say that when, what Honorable Wetangula referred to, when I heard you say that on your nomination day, I say, be a politician. How can you say, respect my husband? I almost said, why don't you, in fact, I shouted in my room, be a politician. But you see, I know you are issue-oriented and you will keep this house very much on issues which relate not just women, but particularly which relate to the people, the poor people, the hustlers, as you may call them, and so on, mamambokas and of this world and so on. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This is what I want to say. Welcome. Welcome. And you are in very good hands where you are sitting there, and others will guide you as appropriate. The last thing I want to say is that I noticed that Wiper Party supported, Ford Kenya supported, I think Jubilee also supported, and so on. And it was because of your unity, I can say, that we had victory. Take the cue and continue to be united, because victory is for sure coming next year. Thank you.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi.
Is that okay?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity also to congratulate and welcome to the Senate the most brand new senator in town, Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama. And Mr. Speaker, in so doing, and I know a lot has been said to congratulate first the Wiper Democratic Party and its party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, Mr. Speaker. I dare say that in my mind, when I look at the history of the Wiper Democratic Party and its party leader, I think I could say with confidence that our politics is getting somewhere. That now we can start to see that issue-based politics is not in vain. And the Wiper Democratic Party leader has had a unique distinction himself as being not only focused, but cool and rational throughout. And it is no wonder, Mr. Speaker, then that indeed he chose the values that are in Agnes Kavindu Muthama. And Senator Kavindu, as we welcome you here, we know you are not only here by right, but you are here because you have demonstrated that you are worthy of being here. The bar that was sent by the late senator for Machakos was very high. And for the people of Machakos to have found it fit to let you fit into those shoes, that shows that even as much as we say, your credentials are clear. So I want to welcome you here, and I am certain that you will find your rhythm, that you will fit within the team that is here, and you will add value to not only what the people of Machakos have sent you here to represent them for, but also in the debate of this House. And we have no doubt as senators ourselves, because during the campaigns, as many have said, we heard, we saw, we witnessed, and coming through that rubble and to rise up and arrive here, we know that you're only going to leave this house a better house than you found it. Your values are useful as a Christian, as a mother, and as a wife. May God bless you. We'll be here for you, and we'll do what we have to do to make your stay here in the Senate better and accompany you in giving success to this House. Welcome.
Senator Juma Isa.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa hii na mimi niweze congratulate Mama Agnes, Senator Agnes kuchaguliwa kama senator wa Machakos. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwamba watu wa Machakos wameamua na pia wametoa kwa sauti moja kwamba mama anaweza, na tulikuwa tunatarajia na tumeona mama ametosha kweli. Karibu sana Mama Senator Agnes, na pia natoa shukrani yangu kwa niaba pia kwa watu wa kaunti ya Kwale. Shukrani pia kufikie na pia iende kwa chama cha Wiper, kwa His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo, kwamba umefanya kazi nzuri sana na umehakikisha kwamba kampeni imeenda salama na kwa amani. Na pia kwa viongozi wengine wale kuweko wa Jubilee, Wiper, ANC, KANU, mkiungana pamoja kwamba mumefanya kampeni kwa njia ya amani na kuhakikisha kwamba Senator Agnes ameweza kumkuwa mshindi katika kiti hichi cha Machakos. Ushindi wake ulikuwa ni mkubwa sana, ambao ni historia imetangazwa na pia itasomwa kwamba mama Senator Agnes alipata karibu kura 100,000 na mshindi wa pili wake ni kura karibu 16. Hii ni kuonekana kwamba mama anaweza, na sisi kama maseneta tunasema mama Senator Agnes tuko na wewe na tutakusupport katika kila jambo katika senate hii. Asante sana. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Cleophas Malala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the people of Kakamega, I would like to express my heartfelt congratulations to Senator Muthama. Mr. Speaker, many people have congratulated the people of Ukambani for having a peaceful election It is in the same breath that I will want to congratulate the people of Matungu and Kabuchai for also having a peaceful election in the just concluded by-elections, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate and as we congratulate Mama Kavindu.
What's your point of order, Senator Nderitu?
Bwana Spika, kwa hoja ya nidhamu, tunakumbuka yale maneno yaliyotokea pale Matungu na Kabucha. Bwana Spika, hata japokuwa tumesimama kumpongeza seneta mwenzetu, ni vizuri julikane wazi kulikuwa na sintofahamu pale Matungu na Bonjari, na ni vizuri ukweli usemekane na ijulikane wazi kabisa badala ya kuwachanganya wa Kenya. Bwana Spika, inajulikana wazi, lakini Machakos mambo yaliendelea vizuri kwa usalama, lakini mahali ambapo ndugu yangu seneta wa kutoka Kakamega anaposema, Bwana Spika, ni vizuri ijulikane wazi yaliyotendeka. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Ochila yako, what is your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records, and the records we have is that Machakos and the neighboring by-elections were very peaceful, and Kabuchai too. It is also on record, both nationally and here, that there are suspects, including my brother Malala, who have been suspected to have been violent. Is it in order for my good brother and friend to place it on record that he should be congratulated at these people when they are suspects that have been dragged to court having been charged with violence?
Order, senators. Order, senators, you know, this is a great day for us as a Senate, where we are congratulating the distinguished senator-elect who has made us achieve the two-third gender as a first, as a chamber. So let us not trivialize or get off the road by concentrating on side shows. So Senator Malala, focus on
Thank you. I choose to keep quiet and proceed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate the newly elected senator for Machakos, I am sure there is one woman who is smiling in her home today, and that woman is called Mama Grace Onyango. Mama Grace Onyango, Mr. Speaker, was the first woman to be elected in Parliament in 1969. And I'm sure that her dreams and her aspirations are being actualized through Mama Kavindu today. As we celebrate Mama Kavindu today, Mr. Speaker, I would like to remind the people of this republic that even before this great woman called Mama Grace Onyango was elected in Parliament in 1969, she was the first councillor of Kisumu Central Ward. She was elected, and she went ahead and became the first mayor, the first woman mayor of Kisumu municipality, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is something unique about this woman when you read the books of history, that she campaigned for women empowerment in a very interesting fashion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when a male employee of Kisumu municipality died or resigned, she insisted, she had an internal policy, that his replacement will be either his wife, his sister, or his daughter. This is a big lesson to the women who are in leadership today, that you need to love your fellow women. Because as we speak right now, the enemy of a woman is a woman. It is very important that even as you celebrate women being elected in these positions, you should love your fellow women. Mr. Speaker, we have seen in various instances, Mr. Speaker, women bringing down fellow women. It is very important, Mr. Speaker, for us to encourage them to love their fellow women. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, as we welcome Senator for Machakos in this House, I would like to remind her that there is a big task ahead of you. That task is to ensure that the BBI bill is passed in this House. And in that BBI, we have a lot of deliverables for the women of Kenya. In that BBI, we are going to provide equal opportunity for women to sit here with men. We are going to have 47 women and 47 men in this house. And therefore, one of your biggest tasks, Honorable Kavindu, is to ensure that you cushion that document and ensure that it is passed in good time, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, I would like to encourage you to come for more tutorials. I will teach you on how to navigate through the corridors of this parliament. I am the right person to show you around. Welcome and may God bless you. Thank you.
What's your point of order, Senator Lagat?
I think, Mr. Speaker, the parliament has its own way of making orientation. And I tend to think that private orientation should not be entertained. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order, members. Those of you who understand the background of the Senator Kakamega know that he's a thespian. And sometimes he thinks every time he's on stage. But I think that was on a light note. But Senator Omanga.
Asante Bwana Spika, ningependa kujiunga na maseneta wenzangu kumpongeza Madam B. Senator Muthama. Nimekuwa na privilege ya kufanya kazi na B. Muthama. Nilimfanyia campaign zake za mwaka 2017. Alikuwa mwania wa kiti cha kina mama Machakos County kwa chama changu cha Jubilee. Na kusema kweli alikuwa ni mama shupavu, ni mama wa mpangilio. Bwana Spika, tunasema ya Mungu ni mengi. Kwamba Mungu aliona kuwa Bi Muthama hafai tu kuwa kiti cha kina mama, lakini anafaa kuwa kiti ambacho atapigana na wanaume na atawabwaga, na sasa yeye ndiyo seneta mpya tunaye wa Machakos County. Bwana Spika, hii imetupa motisha kama viongozi haswa kina mama walioteuliwa, kwamba tunaweza kwenda kule tuombe kura na tuweze kuchaguliwa. Ningekupongeza pia chama cha Wiper. Kimejiunga na chama changu Jubilee, ambacho Bwana Spika kilileta kina mama shupavu, Deputy Speaker Bikamar na Madam Susan Kika ambaye alichaguliwa kutoka county kubwa sana Kenya hii. Chama cha Wiper pia kimejiunga kwa chama kingine, nitasema ni changu, cha UDA, ambacho kilimchagua B. Dulo kuwa senator kutoka Isiolo.
What's your point of order, Senator Wambua?
Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records.
Order, senators. Take your seat. I said observe your social distance.
Mr. Speaker, you should require that the Senator of Gitui be heard in silence. Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Order. It's a House of Records. I want it to go on record that the Wiper Democratic Movement Kenya has no alliance whatsoever with a party called UDA. We have not joined that party in any way. There are no plans to do that at all. Our alliance, Mr. Speaker, is the Jubilee Party. That should go on record. I thank Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Asante Bwana Spika, ningeomba maseneta wenzangu wawe watulivu na wasikize kwa makini. Sikusema kwamba wameungana kisiasa. Nimesema wamejiunga kwa vyama vile ambavyo vilileta kina mama kwa nyumba hii. Viliteua kina mama. Kimekuwa sasa chama cha tatu. Kwa sababu PDR ambacho ndio
kimebadilishwa kinaitwa UDA kilileta Senator Dulo kwenye Senate. Jubilee ilileta mama shupavu Susan Kihika na Senator wa Wasingishu B Professor Kamar. Sasa Wiper ni chama cha tatu. Sijasema kuwa tuko na muungano wa kisiasa. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Spika, ningependa kuwapongeza watu wa Machakos na labda nimwambie Bi Muthama. Senator Kabaka alikuwa mtu ambaye sijui kama nichanganye kizungu.
Mfano.
Lakini viatu vyake, Bwana Spika, vilikuwa vikubwa. Bwana Spika, ni ile napenda kumpa moyo Bi Muthama, nimwambie anaweza. Kwa sababu nimekuwa na yeye, nimeona vile anafanya kazi yake, huyu mama anaweza. Asante sana, Bwana Spika.
Senator Pareno.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, today we decided, courtesy of our whip, Senator Kwamboka, that we stand to support and to celebrate our sister Agnes Muthama by adorning this very simple lesson as a sign of showing that we love her, we welcome her the traditional way and the parliamentary way. Mr. Speaker, we celebrate her, and I want to say that your win is our win. Your win is a celebration in this Senate because of the 2/3 gender rule. And of course, as women, we are celebrating your very big win. Mr. Speaker, garnering over 104,000, with a follower having around 19,000, is a big statement for the women in this country. That you can do it and do it well. It is not easy to get 100,000 and your follower has 19,000. We thank the people of Machakos for coming out in big numbers to make this statement for this country. We thank the party leader, who I celebrate, that you have done us proud for bringing another woman in the first instance by giving that nomination certificate. Because most of the times, the women will not make it because they won't even make it past the nomination certificate of our parties. So this is the way to go. If we want to bridge the gap, if we want to obey the court orders of the 2/3 gender rule, the parties must come out clearly to support women and give them certificates and support them. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy that in this gallery, I see dignitaries, people that we really respect, starting with the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, the whip, my very good friend, Honorable Mbui, and none other than the secretary, the newly appointed secretary of the East African Community, my former colleague, Honorable Mathuki. Congratulations, my colleague. I have been with you. I know you are able to turn around and do what the East Africans would be proud of you. And when you see this behind or beside, let us not say behind, beside this win and beside this great lady is all the gentlemen that you see out there and the ladies that we see up there, then you know that we really need each other in this journey. Without them, probably it would have been very difficult to go around, but with them by your side, you've been able to succeed. So we say congratulations. I know you're up to the task. Our dear colleague, departed colleague, Senator Kabaka, was a very close friend of mine and the whole house. He did his best, but of course, God wanted you to complete his journey. So we are going to be with you, and we thank you for coming up and strongly showing that you can make it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mutula Kalonzo Jr.
Thank you, Speaker. I would like, of course, like my colleagues, congratulate Agnes Kavindu Muthama On my side, people are calling you Senator Muthama. We'll call you Senator Muthama because that's your name. And two, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say, as we congratulate my party leader for this decision, it was not easy to make that decision, but he stood firm for you to be nominated in the presence of men. Senator Wambua and I were there during those discussions, and we know the difficulty that was there in doing so. Secondly, most of you don't know that Agnes Kavindu was actually a member of Jubilee and agreed to join Wiper to become our candidate. And it's an honorable thing. To the Jubilee leadership that agreed, and the Vice Chairman is here, that we could have Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama to be with us is also an act of magnanimity on your part and the people of Machakos. And we must say this, for the record, the men in Machakos who were competing with Muthama changed the rules, created misbehavior, insults, used everything possible, including family, to besmirch the character of Agnes Kavindu because she's a woman. It's very sad. But just like Jesus said when he was being crucified, this lady, Senator Agnes Kavindu, impressed me. She said, forgive these people. Every time we repeated, she said, forgive these people. We are very proud of you, Senator Agnes Kavindu, for your victory and for the party for seeing it fit. Mr. Speaker and members of Senate, you are not aware that the manifesto of Wiper is 50-50. We are implementing the 50-50 gender parity rule. When Kalonzo is president, it will be 50-50. He has said so. And I can repeat so on record. Therefore, the 50-50 you are seeing of the senators here is a reflection of the manifesto of our party leader. It's not a coincidence. It's deliberate action. I have been a gender rapporteur for gender parity. The issue and the question of gender parity is a question for political parties. And Wiper has led the way. And we are going to lead the way. Just follow us. Thank you, Speaker.
Senator Chararige, 2 minutes each so that we have a long agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From the onset, I want to congratulate Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama, Kava Mama. I hope I got the name correct. And wish you the best. I want to equally congratulate our United Democratic Alliance candidate, Ngengele Muthama. And the one lesson that our candidate did show, Mr. Speaker, and this one should be heard loud and clear, is that when you lose an election, you graciously accept. You don't go on the road, you don't do demonstrations. So as a party of Kazi ni Kazi, we want to assure you our full support. Senator Kabaka was a great friend. And Machakos County has a lot of problems. We hope you will play your oversight role when you are now the senator of Machakos County. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, and finally, I want to thank ODM because it is the only party, just like UDA, who have filled the candidates across the country. They filled a candidate in Matungu. As UDA, we fill in Matungu and Kabuchai. And I want to ask party leaders who are here, including my brother, Senator Wetangula, our brother, Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, that we should allow democracy to thrive in this country. We should not only fill our candidates in conclaves of tribal, ethnic-based politics. As a country and as a party, which is UDA, Mr. Speaker, is that we want to have a country where we have tribalist conversation, where democracy thrives. And that is what we saw. And I want to thank the people of Machakos, Mr. Speaker. And I want Senator Mutula Kalonzo Jr., Senator, my brother, the future, Senator Wambua, for ensuring that there were peaceful campaigns. And I want to thank you, Senator Muthama. I saw you came out strongly. I don't want to talk about Senator Malala, because he was fighting for 2 million. I was being arrested in Kabuchai. So, I want to thank that the Machakos did us proud.
Senator Mutula Kalonzo Jr., what is your intervention?
is actually a point of information. This gentleman, Senator, was my chair legal affairs. The Machakos County is not a county for Kambas. It is possibly the only county with all the tribes of Kenya. So Agnes Kavindu has not been elected by Kambas. Please, thank you.
Thank you. It is good. I agree with that information. Of course, Machakos is a cosmopolitan, and we wish you well. We hope you lead the people of Machakos. But the point I was making, Mr. Speaker, very important, that the party leader should listen very carefully. I have seen even the Jubilee Party, and it is good the vice chair is here, David Morathe. They are not going to field a candidate in Bonjari. They want to support a candidate of ODM who is facing corruption allegations. Why are we reducing the party? Why are we reducing the party? Mr. Speaker, can I finish? I said allegations. I didn't say, and it is a fact. It's a fact.
Order, Senator Cherargei.
Can I finish?
Order.
Oh.
Why are you contradicting yourself? You're saying it's as allegations and you're saying it's a fact. The two cannot be in one statement.
No, I say,
so,
Mr. Speaker,
so
what
please don't make wild allegations, please.
No, I mean, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying it is a fact.
What's your point of order, Senator Murkomen?
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for my good friend,
Senator Cherargei.
My good friend and one of my brightest students, Senator Cherargei, is it in order, Mr. Speaker, to be addressing in this house strangers like Murate, Mr. Speaker? Who is that, Mr. Speaker? I thought when you are debating on the floor of this house, you can only address the Speaker and the members of this house. All other strangers, Mr. Speaker, wherever they may be, are not relevant to debate in this house.
Senator Farhia, what's your point of view?
Mr. Speaker, I thought in your communication you said that the deputy party leader of Jubilee is in the gallery. So if it is in order for him to be addressed, I thank you.
Order. Senators, I think we may need to go to the next agenda because I realize that people are beginning to trivialize a very serious order, Senator Murkomen. I did mention that this is a solemn moment for us because we are congratulating a senator who has been elected from Machakos. Therefore, order, Senator. Senator Cherargei, can you finish so that we continue?
So, Mr. Speaker, finally, what I want to say, my advice was to all party leaders. I don't
What's
want
your
to
point of order,
names.
Senator Fatuma Dulo?
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I think Senator Cherargei is not in order simply because he's maligning a name of an individual who is not in this house, who cannot defend himself. Can he apologize and withdraw?
Senator Siaya, James Orengo, just a minute.
Mr. Speaker, I am standing on this point of order because Senator
Cherargei, take your seat, Senator Cherargei.
Senator Cherargei is a lawyer, and we believe in constitutionalism. And if there was no rule of law entirely in this country, there are so many senators and members of parliament who are facing charges in court. But because of the Constitution, nobody can kick you out of this house. So a member should not be in order to malign others on the basis of allegations. Because who has got a more serious reputational challenge? Is this the one who has allegations made against them, or one who is already charged in court? And therefore, I am appealing to him that let us respect the Constitution. And that is why even a member of parliament, even after you've been convicted, until an appeal is exhausted, the law protects you. And if a member of parliament and a lawyer, a senator who wants to be a governor, can misconstrue the law and allege that And particularly when in the gallery there's a vice president and a senior counsel. I think you need to go to Senator Wako, take a few tutorials. So the next time you open your mouth, you know what exactly to say. But actually, Mr. Speaker, what worries me, there are a lot of people on mere allegations. There are people who have been removed of this house and find themselves in detention. And we laughed over it. And now we have members of parliament who are charged with offenses, and I know they are innocent until proven they are guilty. For him to take the floor of the house to besmirch the character of somebody who has not been charged in a court of law, I will not say shame, but I think the Nandi people have got a lot of problems.
Senator Wamatangi, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, this is a house of precedents, Mr. Speaker, and that's in our standing orders. And it is a rule of this house, Mr. Speaker, that for persons who are not here to defend themselves against any allegations that are made here, although we enjoy the privileges that have been given to us, Mr. Speaker, we've made it a rule here in this house that we do not either make allegations, refer to people, or make claims, Mr. Speaker, against our own rules that seem to besmirch people. So, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to bring to your attention that the senator for Nandi is completely out of order. And Mr. Speaker, also the senator for Elgeyo Marakwet, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, before he entered, in the debate that had ensued here all the way through, we have been referring to the leader of the Wiper Democratic Party, Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka, all the way through. We referred to the members of parliament sitting in the gallery. We referred to Mheshimiwa Madhuki and so many others, Mr. Speaker. None of them, in your own wisdom, Mr. Speaker, and the powers that you have you either ruled or referred to as a stranger in the house when they were mentioned here? So it is also not in good faith and taste that the senator for Elgeyo Marakwet singles out the name of David Murathe, him having sat in the gallery. We have referred to all of them, Mr. Speaker. And as such, because it was in your communication, Mr. Speaker, and you are the one who first mentioned the names of the people sitting in the gallery, I think we are a house of dignity. We are a house of respect, Mr. Speaker. And I believe that we should conduct ourselves in a so that this debate, Mr. Speaker, can be respected. And I agree with you and tell you, Mr. Speaker, as the Senate Majority Whip, that this debate that is here to welcome the senator for Machakos should be held in absolute dignity of this house, as we have always done, Mr. Speaker. And the whole country is watching. How does the Senate conduct its business, Mr. Speaker? Thank you.
Senator Wetangula, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a great day for Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama. She's coming for the first time. The people of Machakos who elected her are watching. Her party leader is in the gallery watching. And we should give her a baptism of dignity. She's come to this house to join us. And it's wrong for us to appear to trivialize a very, very important event in her life. That she's now the distinguished senator for Machakos. She's come to the upper house, the house of record, the house of decorum, and the house that should have men and women of distinction who don't stand up to trivialize debate and start bringing our extraneous issues. The implosion in Jubilee is not on this floor, Mr. Speaker. We are congratulating the senator for Machakos. You read out the names of the dignitaries in the gallery. I even took an opportunity to add on my good friend Mzee Kalonzo and welcomed him to the house. Let's not trivialize the debate in this house. And for my distinguished young brother from Nandi, remember, you cannot erase the footprints of history. You can't. And I want to urge you, you are still on a learning curve. Take baby steps, and then you'll get somewhere. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, you know, we wail louder than the bereaved, and it doesn't help. Senator Cherargei, my dear younger brother, I thought the experience in Kabuchai taught you a little lesson. But it doesn't seem to have. And I want to hope that as we go to the future, we must learn what the Constitution says. You're a lawyer. You've chaired JLAC in this parliament, and you know very well. There is a member of parliament in the lower house who was jailed for 67 years. He's out on bail, he's back in the house. That is what our Constitution says, until you exhaust all the appellate machinery. And lastly, Dave Murathe sitting up there is a friend of mine. He was a year behind me at the university. Whatever you are doing in Jubilee, don't bring it to this floor, because we have no issues with it.
Senator, order, senators. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order. Senators, if you look at our order paper, we have very weighty matters, including a motion where we are supposed to condole with the people of Tanzania. We are going to have a lot of time, and order, Senator Murkomen. You are a leader here, and expect that you conduct yourself with a bit of decorum. So I was going to say, what I want to propose and suggest here is that, because you are still going to have time to talk, we can still congratulate the newly elected senator as you speak, and even outside the house. So that is also allowed, because I realize that the interest, we have more than 20 more senators. So I want to ask Senator Cherargei to wind up, then I'll make a communication, then we will. Senator Murkomen, what is it?
Mine is very brief, Mr. Speaker. It's just because of the record. I know Senate Majority Whip, in his maiden speech, Senator Wamatangi, as a Majority Whip, is anxious to defend the party leadership. But, Mr. Speaker, if you listen to me very carefully, my statements were actually in defense of those who are not sitting in this house. Because if we open the door for us to speak about my friend, the former Vice President who is sitting there, or my friend David Murathe who is sitting there, in a negative light, Mr. Speaker, then there's no one to defend them here. It would be expected, of course, that courtesy would demand that when we mention their names, it's in a good light and a positive light. But even in the equal measure, when you start mentioning in that light, Mr. Speaker, there will be so many people here who would make accusations against them when they're standing there. And I cannot promise, Mr. Speaker, that when Senator Langat, who was arrested, Mr. Speaker, when he was performing his serious duties at the behest of the party, he may not be too kind like myself when he stands to speak. So my defense was in positive light. And I think Senator Wamatangi should relax. He has his place, and nobody will remove him.
Order, senators. Order, senators. I think what we are saying, order, Senator Wamatangi. I don't want it to become an exchange between the two of you. No. Order, Senator Wamatangi. Order, Senator Wamatangi. You are a leader. I hope you don't want to talk about that. Okay, Senator Wamatangi, don't talk about, because we cannot continue.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have to get into unnecessary altercation, Mr. Speaker. And you know I'm a stickler for rules, and I respect the House, Mr. Speaker. I'm a senator who has been sitting in this House for 8 years, Mr. Speaker. And since the time when we gave the senator for Elgeyo Marakwet, my very good friend, And Mr. Speaker, you have heard the senator saying on record here that I'm the one who gave you my wife. He said that here, Mr. Speaker. And is it and Mr. Speaker, so Mr. Speaker, no, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to be on record, Mr. Speaker, that there is no maiden speech that the senator for Kiambu is making in this house. I am in the Hansard, Mr. Speaker, as having made speeches in this house, Mr. Speaker. And the point I laid is because as the majority whip, Mr. Speaker, it is important that we not only emphasize that the conduct of this business be dignified as it should, but Mr. Speaker, these rules bind all of us in leadership, including the Senator for Elgeyo Marakwet, with his eloquence and his friendship. And if he continues that way, Mr. Speaker, I'll take that wife away. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei, can you just wind up so that...
Thank you, Speaker. I want to conclude by saying I think Senator Moses Wetangula...
Order, Senators.
Senator Moses Wetangula was not here when I was giving some advice to party leaders. I said all political party leaders in this country should allow themselves to field candidates. Even in Nandi County, you are free to field a candidate of Fort Kenya to run against me or any other person. That was my advice to all political parties, Mr. Speaker, that let us allow democracy to thrive. Let us not reduce our political parties into tribal conclaves. And I was saying, for example, ODM has done very well. They have filled all candidates across the country. And that is the future that we want for this country. I don't know whether you had a hand in what happened in Kabuchai, but we'll discuss under the cup of coffee. Because, Mr. Speaker, I would have also expected you to send me even a cup of uji since I was in your county. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Senator Muthama, and we wish you the best. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, order, Senators. Like I've said, there's a lot of interest, but we'll have an opportunity to welcome and congratulate the new senator for Machakos. But in the interest of time and what is lying before us, I should have even made this communication earlier, but I will make it now so that we are able to proceed. So I take this opportunity to welcome you back to part two of the 5th session of the Senate. This part of the Senate calendar will run from today, Tuesday, 23rd March 2021, to Thursday, 15th April 2021. It is my hope that you all kept well and safe during the 2 weeks recess, reconnected with your constituents, families, and friends, and that you are ready for the business of the Senate in the coming weeks. You will recall that on Wednesday, 3rd March 2021, I issued communication regarding the status of delivery by the county assemblies to the Senate of the speakers of the 2 houses of Parliament, their decisions on the draft Constitution of Kenya, Amendment Bill 2020, and the attendant roadmap on the bill. I indicated that as at 2 p.m. on that day, a total of 34 county assemblies had submitted to the 2 speakers resolutions by the county assemblies on the proposed Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 pursuant to Article 257(7) of the Constitution and Paragraph 5 of the Guidelines for Delivery by the county assemblies as set out in legal notice number 175 of 22nd November 2019. Since then, the remaining counties have all submitted resolutions on the respective decisions on the bill. The final result is that 43 county assemblies have submitted a certificate of approval, while 3 county assemblies submitted certificates of rejection. 1 county assembly submitted letters to the speakers of the Houses of Parliament conveying that they had abstained. Honorable Senators will recall that before we proceeded for recess on Thursday, 4th March 2021, the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 was read a first time in both the Senate and the National Assembly, taking into account that the threshold set out at Article 257(7) of the Constitution had been met. The bill was committed to the standing committees on justice, legal affairs, human rights, pursuant to Standing Order 141 of the Senate. I directed the committee to hold joint sittings on the bill with the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs of the National Assembly and undertake joint public hearings pursuant to Standing Order 224 of the Senate. It is my hope, and indeed that of many Kenyans, that the two committees have prepared reports on the bill, which will be tabled before the Houses of Parliament at the earliest opportunity to inform the debate and the next course of action on the matter. Honorable Senators, it's expected that in the schedule of business of the Senate, pursuant to Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act and Standing Order 181, the Senate will consider the Division of Revenue Bill. As a standard practice, this bill is introduced in the National Assembly. The Senate Business Committee will therefore prioritize this bill upon receipt of a message from the Assembly on the matter. Shortly thereafter, the county assemblies of the county allocation of revenue bill will be introduced pursuant to Standing Order 182 of the Senate. Other business already before the Senate include 9 bills that were read a first time on 4th March 2021, a total of 49 petitions before respective standing committees and statements pursuant to Standing Orders 47 and 48. We will also be expecting chairpersons of respective standing committees to make their quarterly reports pursuant to Standing Order 51(1)B. We look forward to hearing the impact that the work being undertaken by our committee is making, the innovations that they have had to employ to work in these unprecedented times, and their plans for the next quarter. I urge us all to avail ourselves to consider and pass this critical business. I also urge committees to redouble efforts to conclude the pending business before them. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Messages. Order. Message from the National Assembly. Approval by the National Assembly of the mediated version of the Early Childhood Education Bill, Senate Bill number 26 of 2018. Honorable Senators, I wish to bring to your the attention of the Senate that on Friday, 12th March 2021, pursuant to Standing Order number 41, 3, and 4, the clerk delivered to me a message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the approval by the National Assembly of the mediated version of the Early Childhood Education Bill, Senate Bill number 26 of 2018. The message, which is dated 9th March 2021, was received while the Senate was on recess and was transmitted to all senators on 16th March 2021 pursuant to Standing Order number 41.5. Further, pursuant to the standing orders, I now report the message. Quote, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders 41, 149, and 150 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas the Early Childhood Education Bill, Senate Bill number 26 of 2018, was referred to the Mediation Committee on Thursday, 1st October 2020, in accordance with the provisions of Article 112, 2B of the Constitution, and whereas the National Assembly on Thursday, 4th March 2021, considered and approved the mediated version of the said bill in the form developed by the Mediation Committee as required under Article 113(2) of the Constitution. Now, therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 113(3) of the Constitution and Standing Order 154(b), I will present the bill to His Excellency the President for assent. Honorable Senators, as communicated in the message, the Speaker of the National Assembly is currently processing the bill for assent. I thank you. I have another message from the National Assembly on the passage of the Care and Protection of Older Members of Society Bill, Senate Bill number 17 of 2018. Honorable Senators, via a message dated Friday, March 2021, I received a message from the National Assembly on the passage of the Care and Protection of Older Members of Society Bill, Senate Bills number 17 of 2018, pursuant to the Standing Orders 41.1 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. You may recall that this bill was passed by the Senate on Wednesday, 12th June 2019, with amendments and referred to the National Assembly for consideration. You may also recall that following the High Court ruling on 29th October 2020 on Constitutional Petition number 284 of 2019, implementation of the judgment by the Senate commenced. Notably, the High Court ordered that all bills for which the concurrence process contemplated under Article 110.3 of the Constitution could not be demonstrated be ceased, and that the said concurrence process be adhered before introduction of such bills in either House of Parliament. Honorable Senators, the Care and Protection of Older Members Society Bill, Senate Bills number 17 of 2018, was one such bill for which the concurrence process pursuant to Article 110.3 of the Constitution could not be demonstrated by the time the High Court gave its judgment. As such, I directed that the bill be republished, which it has as the Care and Protection of Older Members of Society Bill, Senate Bills number 24 of 2020, and is currently undergoing the concurrence process pursuant to Article 110.3 of the Constitution, following which the bill will be read a first time in the Senate. In view of the foregoing, the Care and Protection of Older Members Society Bill, Senate Bills number 17, as received from the National Assembly via message dated Friday, 5th March 2021, will not be proceeded with in the Senate. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Leader of Majority.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 23rd March 2021. Number 1, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Siaya for the year ended 30th June 2019. Number 2, report of Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Siaya for the year ended 30th June 2019. 3, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Mandera for the year ended 30th June 2019. 4, report of Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Mandera for the year ended 30th June 2019. 5, report of Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Meru for the year ended 30th June 2019. And finally, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Meru for the year ended 30th June 2019. I thank you.
Okay, next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Which order? Which is the next order? You are not audible. Senate Majority Leader, notices of motion.
Number 4.
I wish to give notice of motion. I have 2, Mr. Speaker, sir. The first notice of motion, alteration of the Senate calendar for the year, for the 5th session. That notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on the 16th, 2021, approval of the Senate calendar, pursuant to Standing Orders 29.4, And 31.3, the Senate resolves to alter its calendar regular sessions for the 5th session 2021 in respect of parts 2 and 3 to hold 2 sittings every week on Tuesday only, morning and afternoon, beginning from 10 a.m. and ending at 12:30 p.m. for the morning sitting, and beginning at 2:30 p.m. and ending at 6:30 p.m. for the afternoon sitting, beginning on Tuesday 23rd March 2021 until Tuesday 15 June 2021, and that the Senate calendar regular session for the 5th session 2021 be altered accordingly. The second notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, is motion of the condolences on demise of His Excellency the late Dr. John Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, that the Senate of the Republic of Kenya expresses its deep sadness at the death on 17th March 2021 of His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, records its appreciation for his immense contribution in public service to the people of Tanzania, appreciate in his effort to foster unity and peace within the East African community, recognizes the high esteem in which he was held in the African continent in his pursuit of Pan-Africanism, stands in solidarity with His Excellency Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan, the new President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and the people of Tanzania, in the true spirit of brotherhood within the East African community in this difficult time, and efforts its profound sympathy and condolences to Her Excellency Mama Janet Magufuli and the entire family, the government, and people of the United Republic of Tanzania. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator. The next notice of motion is from the Senate, from the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Roads and Transportation. Senator Matangi.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation on its inquiry into the operationalization of the National Construction Authority defects liability regulations laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, the 24th of September 2010. Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable Senators, we have one statement under 47.1, and we have 7 and 6 under 48.1. I want to request that when we go to 48.1, we don't, we commit them to the committees rather than write on them, so that we dispose of 2 very important motions. We have the motion on the change of the calendar, which we must dispose of as soon as possible. And I'm sure we'll need about an hour to deal with our condolence messages to the late Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli. So if I can get your silent okay, then I will move now to statement, the first statement 5A by the Senator for Trans Nzoia, Senator Michael Mbito. Senator Michael Mbito, I don't see him, so we go to the next set of statements. The next set of statements, 48.1, we have 2 statements from Senator Gerard Gay. Please take the 2 of them concurrently, move one after the other. Thank you. Yes, Senator.
Mike. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have two statements, and I request that I read both of them concurrently. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Information and Technology regarding the status of access to information regulations as provided for in the Access to Information Act of 2016. In the statement, committee should, 1, explain why the Cabinet Secretary for Information and Technology has delayed in making access to information regulations as contemplated in Section 25 of the Access to Information Act 2016. Secondly, state when the said regulations will be in place. Thirdly, explain the strategies that the Commission on Administrative Justice has employed to ensure that there is awareness among members of the public on access to information as a right and awareness as provided for by the Constitution of Kenya 2010 among its public officers on their obligations under the Act to facilitate access to information. And finally, Madam Speaker, avail a financial report on the implementation of the Access to Information Act 2016, including an impact assessment of work conducted by Commission on Administrative Justice. Madam Speaker, I proceed to the second statement, request for statement on operationalization of the proposed Legal Aid Fund in the Legal Aid Fund Act of 2016. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek statement from the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights regarding the operationalization of the proposed Legal Aid Fund provided for in the Legal Aid Act of 2016. In the statement, the committee should, 1, explain the reasons why the Legal Aid Fund has not been operationalized. 2, state the measures put in place by the government to ensure that legal aid support is awarded to indigent persons. Number 3, clarify whether the Office of the Attorney General has explored possibility of devolving the framework of the Legal Aid Fund to the counties, and if so, state the strategy and timelines established. And finally, Madam Speaker, provide a detailed financial statement of budgetary allocations, including assistance by development partners towards providing legal aid programs in Kenya, as was stated in Legal Aid Fund Act of 2016. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Cherargei. The first statement stands committed to the Committee on Information Technology on Information and Technology, while the second statement stands committed to the Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights. The next statement is from nominated Senator Beatrice Kwamboga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on the outbreak of foot and mouth disease in Narok County. In the statement, the committee should, number 1, report on the extent of the current outbreak and spread of the foot and mouth disease in Narok County, particularly in Transmara. Number 2, state the measures put in place to contain FMD as well as other fast-spreading livestock diseases, especially in marketplaces. Number 3, outline the measures set up to cushion farmers from the losses incurred due to the outbreak, including the available veterinarian services in the county. And number 4, explain the actions taken by the government to educate farmers on livestock diseases, including both preventive and curative measures. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. That statement stands committed to the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. Next statement is from the nominated Senator, Senator Naomi Shionga. You have two statements. Please read both of them, one after the other.
Mike, please. Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to pass my statement on the deplorable state of the public schools in the rural areas. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education regarding the deplorable state of public schools in the rural areas, especially at this time when the national examination is taking place or has commenced. Madam Speaker, in the statement, the committee should, one, explain the framework put in place by both national and county governments to ensure that students, especially the candidates, are able to write the exams comfortably. Two, provide the demographic and distribution of the public schools which are deemed to be in deplorable state across the counties. Three, outline measures, if any, that have been put in place to ensure provision of enough teachers, sanitary facilities, classrooms, and other amenities to ensure learners achieve academic excellence. And lastly, to state the progress made towards establishing mechanism to equip these schools and upgrade them to higher standards as needed. The second statement, Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on the plight of sugarcane farmers in the Sugar Belt region across the country. In the statement, the committee should, one, explain the major cause of delay in transporting sugarcane to the sugar companies after harvest, especially for the growers in areas like Navaholo and Mohoroni areas. Two, to state the measures that have been put in place to address this delay, as well as the issue of delayed payment for delivered sugarcane, considering that sugarcane farmers or farming is the only source of livelihood for some of the farmers in this area. Three, explain the progress being made toward removing rogue sugarcane brokers from the market and enhancing the seamless process of operation between farmers and sugarcane companies, and lastly, outline the measures put in place, if any, to caution sugarcane farmers from losses they incur by failure or delay by these companies to transport sugarcane, which often leads to delayed drying and rotting the canes once harvested. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The next statement, you have two statements. First, I want to commit the first one to the Committee on Education, and the second one to the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, and I see an intervention by Senator Pareno.
Madam Speaker, thank you for allowing me to comment. It was on the statement by Senator Beatrice Kwamboka on the widespread infections of foot and mouth disease on our animals. Though this statement, Madam Speaker, is targeting Narok, I was going to request that the committee that you referred to should look at the problem widely. Madam Speaker, we keep vaccinating our animals on foot and mouth disease every 2 months. It used to be like once or twice in a year. Now we are doing it every 2 months, because in every 2 months you realize that the animals are already infected. And by the time we vaccinate, We have already taken the meat, we have already taken the milk. We don't even know whether taking the milk and the meat that is already infected, we don't know the extent of damage to those of us that are livestock breeders and we take our milk daily. We have a problem all over. And it is so consistent that it can no longer be contained by single individual farmers. It has to call for the intervention of the bodies that either keep the vaccines. And I'm requesting, Madam Speaker, that the committee to take into account and investigate whether the vaccines that we are getting are no longer serving the purpose, or we are getting vaccines that are fake, because definitely they are no longer serving the purpose. So, Madam Speaker, I'm requesting that the committee broadens its investigations into Kajiado County and also to check on the effectiveness of the vaccines that we are getting on foot and mouth disease. It is so serious, we don't know where it is taking us, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Senator. Honorable Senators, the next statement was by the Senator for Muranga, Senator Dr. Irungu Kangata, and he's not in. But we have an approved statement from Senator Methika Linturi. And the 48-1.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is a request for a statement on outstanding pending bills, small African contractors on roads and other related infrastructure projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads and Transportation on the issue of outstanding bills owed to small contractors of roads and other related infrastructure projects. In the statement, the committee should provide a list of pending bills owed to small contractors of roads and other related infrastructure projects since the financial year 2017 to date, explain reasons for non-payment by the government of the pending bills despite the directive by the President to cushion small contractors against the impact of COVID-19, a situation that has led to many job losses as the same contractors have been forced to lay off workers. 3, state reasons for lack of a policy by the 3 roads agencies in the Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban agencies intend to put in place to pay accrued interest arising from the delay in payments of those contractors as provided for in the contract signed, and the impact on the taxpayer on these, on the impact on the taxpayer. Finally, Mr. Speaker, state when the 3 roads agencies, the ministry, intend to pay all outstanding pending bills of those small contractors, given that the supplementary budget tabled in the National Assembly has no provision for budgetary allocation to pay the contractors, and especially the special categories such as persons with disability, women, and the youth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The statement by Senator Methika Linturi stands committed to the Committee of Roads and Transportation. Honorable Senators, we'll go back to statements under 47-1 because they have confirmed Senator Michael Mbito had already delegated his statement to the Senator of Narok, Senator Olekina.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. I rise to request a statement on behalf of Senator Michael Mbito. Madam Speaker, from the onset, this statement is dated the 27th of February 2021, and it's similar to a statement that I had requested. It's on an issue of general topical concerns regarding addressing corruption in the police recruitment. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 47-1 to make a statement on an issue of general topical concerns, namely addressing corruption and in police recruitment. Madam Speaker, reports of widespread corruption in the ongoing hiring of police officers annoying indeed. Some of the qualified candidates claimed they had been locked out of the flimsy ground because they could not raise the huge bribes demanded by recruiting officers. In some cases, Madam Speaker, results of the recruitments were shrouded in secrecy. The recent recruitment of the Kenya Defence Forces officers can also not be said to have been above board. In both cases, Madam Speaker, families were asked to pay as much as Kenya shillings 500,000 in bribes for their kin to join the armed forces, with Kenya shillings 400,000 being the standard figure, which is unbecoming. Madam Speaker, one discerns two significant developments in the hiring. First, the country boasts of an army of young and educated people who are desperately looking for jobs. An opportunity to serve in the security services will not only have been bestowed the youth with the patriotic duty to defend and protect their motherland, but also kicked off a journey that would lead to fulfillment of career dreams. Madam Speaker, secondly, the entrenched culture of corruption stubbornly continues to characterize recruitment in the security services. This cruelty disadvantages candidates from poor backgrounds who can't raise the bribes, dashing hopes and opening the door for disillusionment. Madam Speaker, there is something terribly wrong with a system that rationalizes and rewards corruption at the expense of merit and transparency. It also raises questions on the commitment of agencies such as the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Independent Police Oversight Authority, and the Director of Criminal Investigation that are mandated to tame misconduct in disciplined forces. Therefore, Madam Speaker, serious measures should be put in place to ensure that there is sobriety in the security services sector. Madam Speaker, the idea that corruption has been rendered the only window to serve in the police and military should be a moment to reflect for any right-thinking citizen. It will be remembered that the government in 2005 cancelled a police recruitment drive due to bizarre corruptions. The Anti-Corruption Commission warned that 80% of the candidates had either paid bribes or used high-level connections to get jobs. A total of 60 senior officers were suspended following the debacle. Madam Speaker, the reality that the practice continues with the amount of bribes demanded increasing means that perpetrators have devised more ingenious ways to beat the dragnet. It is doubtful that Kenyans can expect individuals recruited through corruption to uphold ethics and integrity in their future careers. It is akin to polluting a stream at the source. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the relevant agencies should take action to ensure that we root out corruption completely in order to have a level ground field for every Kenyan to participate in the recruitment exercise. Madam Speaker, on behalf of Senator Michael Mbito, I thank you, and I hope that action will be taken on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. I will allow only one because we are not committing to a committee. Senator Langat, Christopher Andrew.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would have wished first to contribute a bit on the first statement. However, may I get into supporting this one from Senator Mbito? I want to say the corruption that marred seriously the recruitment of the police and the armed forces this particular time was so serious. Madam Speaker, I want to say that the moment we compromise the recruitment of soldiers in our country, it has a long and lasting effect in the professionalism of the same profession. We can remember very well, Madam Speaker, about what happened to China in history. After creating a very expensive wall for defense to their country, it was later on discovered, Madam Speaker, that nevertheless the wall never helped them because of the soldiers who are at the gate, and they could easily be bribed to allow the enemies in. I'm so sure that these particular soldiers who are corrupting their way into this particular profession, finally they will be compromised in whatever they are doing. And you know, military is a very important department in this country that is bestowed into actually defending our country from enemies outside. This is a particular force that keeps the secrecy of defense of our country. If this particular corruption, if this particular compromise is allowed to continue, Madam Speaker, this particular Department of Defense will be at risk and our country will be at risk. So it is my appeal that the newly recruitment which took place last month be rejected, disbanded, and recruitment is, and a fresh and professional recruitment is done, because it is embarrassing, and I appeal, Mrs. Speaker, that this particular corrupt system that ensured this particular recruitment be disbanded. So, Madam Speaker, it is my appeal, because it is a very serious issue that is affecting our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Honorable Senators, today is the Cerebral Palsy International Day, and we've approved a statement from Senator Musuruve under 47-1. Senator Musuruve.
For giving me the opportunity to make this statement regarding Cerebral Palsy Month. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 47-1 to make a statement on an issue of general topical concern, namely Cerebral Awareness Month. The month of March is globally marked as Cerebral Awareness Month. Thousands of Kenyans may not be aware of what cerebral palsy is, the symptoms, and how to support children with cerebral palsy together with their caregivers. The word cerebral means having to do with the brain, whereas palsy means weakness or problems with using muscles. Cerebral palsy is a brain disorder that can affect muscles of the brain. To create awareness of cerebral palsy, many people who are aware and would like to create awareness purposely wear green. The color green was chosen to reflect youthfulness and new growth, as well as hope for advancement in treatment and acceptance of cerebral palsy. Honorable Speaker, cerebral palsy may be caused by brain injury or problems that occurred during pregnancy or birth or within the first 2 or 3 years of a child's life while the brain is still developing. Cerebral palsy related to the brain that happened before or during birth is called congenital cerebral palsy. Majority of cerebral palsy, 85% to 90%, is congenital. In many cases, the specific causes is not known. Some things increase the chance that a child will have cerebral palsy. These are called risk factors. It is important to remember that having a risk factor does not mean that a child will have cerebral palsy. Some of the risk factors are congenital CPR, low birth weight, premature birth, multiple births, assisted reproductive technology, that is infertility treatments, infections during pregnancy, jaundice, and canicteras, and jaundice. Honorable Speaker, a small percentage of cerebral palsy is caused by brain damage that occurs more than 28 days after birth. This is called acquired cerebral palsy and usually is associated with an infection such as meningitis or head injury, problems with blood flow to the brain, cerebrovascular accidents, for example, stroke or bleeding in the brain associated with a blood clot problem, blood vessels and that did not form properly, a heart defect that was present at birth, or sickle cell disease. In preventing cerebral palsy, there's need to be aware that the cause or causes of congenital cerebral palsy aren't fully known, which means that currently little can be done to prevent it. Cerebral palsy related to genetics is not preventable. However, the actions people can take before and during pregnancy, as well as after birth, that might help reduce the risk of developmental problems, including cerebral palsy. Taking steps to help ensure a healthy pregnancy can help prevent developmental problems, including cerebral palsy. Then we have acquired cerebral palsy, which is often related to an infection or injury, and some of these cases can be prevented. Some preventive measures are mother being as healthy as possible before pregnancy, getting vaccinated for certain diseases such as rubella and chickenpox that could harm the baby, and considering chances of reducing multiple pregnancies in case one is using assistive reproductive technology. Honorable Speaker, there are 3 types of cerebral palsy, namely ataxic cerebral palsy, dyskinetic cerebral palsy, and spastic cerebral palsy.
Senator, I'll give you 2 minutes to summarize.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I've talked about the 3 types of cerebral palsy. Honorable Speaker, children with cerebral palsy may experience difficulties in learning. These may include short attention span, motor planning difficulties, that is organizational and sequencing, perceptual difficulties, and language difficulties. These can impact on literacy, numeracy, and other skills. Honorable Speaker, people keen in supporting children with cerebral palsy can reach out to families or organizations that deal with cerebral palsy to find out on various specific points of intervention. Some points of intervention revolve around therapy, services, for instance, speech, physio, and occupational therapy. Provision of food rich in calcium, such as milk, yogurt, cheese, and calcium supplement fruits, juices, and vitamin D rich foods, such as fish. Health services countrywide need to deliberately create awareness to expectant and lactating mothers on healthy lifestyles before and after giving birth, and precautionary measures that need to be taken in helping children in their first years of birth developmentally. This awareness can be incorporated in antenatal clinics. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Senator. I will only allow 2 interventions again. Senator Sakaja Johnson, other.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, even as I make a comment, I think, as you've seen, you've had to ask her to summarize, means there's a problem somewhere, because this is a statement that was approved in its entirety. I don't know how you approved such a long statement. But more importantly, Madam Speaker, the issues she's talking about are critical. I have very many young people in Nairobi, children, whose parents are not well-to-do and are suffering from cerebral palsy. Madam Speaker, when it is possible to actually help many of them be able to live almost a normal life and to be educated in special institutions, many of these children, Madam Speaker, you'll be disappointed to learn, are locked up in the slums, in the houses, because there's only one caregiver, and the mother needs to go out and look for a living, earn a living. And so there are many of them who are locked up and kept almost tethered like animals, and there are hundreds and hundreds of them in this city, sadly. I'm glad that it's something that we've been able to work on, and I thank the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, because he helped me get a bus. And we were able to give that bus to one of the ladies who does therapies for children that goes around and picks these children. But more needs to be done. I would like to urge Senator Musuruve, because these are just a few that we've been able to assist, to bring a substantive intervention where through the government's health budget and education budget, because we've seen many of these children being able to actually be brought back into the system. And even some of them are able to walk, they're able to learn. that a substantive intervention that makes sure there is an allocation, that we have these special institutions, that we have a budget that takes care of these kids. Because it is only those who are well-to-do, the rich in society, who are able to rehabilitate their children. Yet there are many, it's an unspoken issue. In many areas, maybe even in the rural areas, they say that the parent has been cursed. And that is why, because of the curse, your child, and they think the child is mad or there is something, generational, we need to also debunk and demystify and actually deal with the stigma that is associated. And I'm glad Senator Musuruve has been able to break down what causes this condition. So I'd encourage her and ask her to, instead of just celebrating every March, what actual steps are we taking as a country, or as a Senate, or as a representative of persons living with disability, to bring a legislative intervention that will take care of this very important and very vulnerable, segment of our population, Madam Speaker. The situation is more dire than many people would care to appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Wakos, Sitwila Amos.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I thought I should speak on this because when I was Attorney General, a group of people came to see me to form a society, the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya. So I sort of got interested. I registered the association and did a fundraiser for them to take off. Now, it's really when I went to that fundraiser and I saw the children who were suffering, that I was really moved. Moved because that is a type of disability which is not really taken care of institutionally. By that I mean, for the blind, at least you have the school for the blind, school for the deaf, the school for the physically disabled. But this category of disability, as at that time, did not have anybody. These were really the pioneers in that game. And as you can imagine, when parents realize that this is a child of cerebral palsy, I'm sorry about women, a number of men normally can run away from that wife because of the way the child is. And that happened quite a bit. So I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the mothers, because I found that the mothers are very patient. They really look after these children. They take all their devotion, commitment to looking after these children really on their own. And I hope that by now the society has grown a bit so that at least they can also be institutionally helped the way the Senator of Nairobi is talking. Unless you have an institution which can give education, which is specialized in giving education to this type of student, disability to children, then we are just talking in the air. About a month ago, I remember seeing on television, there's a lady in Raraka, that side, who has begun a home. But you can see she doesn't have the means, she doesn't have anything, the way the children are. It appeared on TV. But you can see she's really committed, which leads me to think that we are not really paying as a society, let alone the individuals who are committed to this as a society. Are we supporting these individuals who are very good-hearted, who want to do something, who depend on handouts, basically, but who are just there? Nothing is happening. They are not getting the proper education, and they are growing up and so on. So I would urge Senator Musuruve, my what? Actually, she's like my sister-in-law. I would urge her, really, because she has been very actively involved in these issues, if she can target that by this time next year, we shall be talking about some concrete steps that are being taken now institutionally, particularly in the provision of proper education, in the provision of proper caring of these students, of the people suffering from the cerebral palsy, properly taking care of them and so on, that some steps have actually been taken. I take what Senator Sakaja said, that maybe there's a bus which goes around picking them and so on. But let me tell you, that's just a tip of the iceberg. There are many who are hidden. Hidden. Even in Madare and so on, Madare and so on, because I've seen one or two, they are hidden kabisa, because of the shame their mothers feel or the shame their parents feel. To be encouraged now to have a proper school so that they are encouraged to take the children there and they can learn. Although it's a difficult challenge, they can learn to do something, taking into account their disability. They can learn to do something. And in other countries, they learn to do something. And they become useful members of the society, rather than just being left there and being taken as signs of some bad luck or whatever to the families where they were born. So thank you very much for the very comprehensive statement you have given. I would like to have a copy of it, if I can, for my records and for future reference. If there's any assistance that you would want us to do not forget to get in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. The statement is available for circulation, but I was also going to order that the full statement be put on the answer so that it's complete as it is. It was 4 pages. That's why I wanted members to, it's a celebration time for them. And with that, I want to take the discretion to allow 2 more people, Senator Lokorio Petrolina Were, and finally, Senator Mutula Kalonzo.
Thank you.
If you can take 2 minutes,
yes, I will.
Senator Yane will be able to get 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to join my colleagues in congratulating Senator Musuruve for bringing this statement that is globally marked as Cerebral Awareness Month. Madam Speaker, we should note that the cases of cerebral palsy are rising. And it is surprising that they are rising when now we have free maternity care in our hospitals, which are encouraging proper antenatal care for our pregnant mothers. So it means that there is a gap somewhere in implementing this free maternal assistance to mothers, because they are not therefore encouraging proper antenatal care, because the statement Senator Musuruve gave says that most of these cases, if they are not hereditary, they are caused by brain damage that occurs more than 28 days after birth, meaning that during birth, something occurs that was not foreseen because this mother has not been attending antenatal care as is expected. It's also possible because then that pregnancy was not healthy. So mine is to urge those responsible for implementing the free maternal care that is part of the Jubilee agenda for this country, that they implement it fully, to start from antenatal to birth all the way. Madam Speaker, the Speaker earlier had promised that we can also congratulate Senator Kavindu when we rise up to speak on any issue. So I would like to congratulate Senator Agnes Kavindu for election, Kava Mama, and also congratulate the Vice President, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, for ensuring that she was given the party ticket. And thank the former Vice President for mobilizing his fellow leaders, our very own Senator Wetangula, the ANC leader, Musalia Mudavadi, and the KANU leader, Senator Gideon Moi, in making sure that we got this seat. So it should not go unmentioned, and urge other political parties to ensure that in their strongholds, they give women the nomination certificates, because the election of Senator Kavindu has proved that if you give a woman in your stronghold as a party, you are almost 85% assured of getting that seat. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Mutula Kalonzo Jr.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On this subject of cerebral palsy, let me disclose that very young in my practice, I represented a couple, and that couple had a 14-year-old girl who suffered from cerebral palsy. Now, I've listened to your statement, Senator Dr. Gertrude Museruve, and those who have mentioned about maternal health care, because I did a lot of research. The correct position is this, that a lot of the children who end up with cerebral palsy get it during birth. That's when it happens. When that child misses oxygen for a period of less than 5 minutes, that child gets cerebral palsy. This matter made me so paranoid, Madam Speaker, that when my 2 children were born, I was there to check, so that there is no distress, because it is that distress to the mother that causes cerebral palsy. Now, what is the tragedy? Is that in most of our hospitals, the women will be told, push, continue pushing. That is when it occurs. And I went to a hospital in Sultan where a mother was in labor for 24 hours. It is when the child is at the bridge that you get cerebral palsy. Speak the truth. Tell people that you cannot have a mother in labor for all that time. Because some mothers cannot dilate, and it's not their mistake. And it is at that point where doctors should take preventive action. I got UNICEF to donate that machine, the ultrasound machine, to check the distress of a baby, when they are fetus, when they are being born. And the tragedy is this, that in Kenya we only have at most 10 experts on cerebral palsy. This child who was born under distress and was this small at 14 years, this small, no doctor could testify against the doctor who made that mistake. And recently, a gentleman walked into my office just about 2 weeks ago. The child was under distress in a hospital in Nairobi, was born with acute cerebral palsy, was kept in an ICU for 3 weeks. They were left with a bill of 4 million shillings. The child was buried, and it's when the parents then realized something was wrong. By the time they came to me, I said, we don't even have a case because that child is gone. But the record here shows that your wife was under distress for more than 14 hours. So the answer is in maternal health care. What Senator Lokoria said, that you cannot have a child at the bridge for 5 minutes. That 5 minutes will cause cerebral palsy, and it's irreversible. And that child becomes deformed. That child's brain will never develop. And in most cases, in fact, thank God, the one Senator Sakaja is talking about, in most cases, that child would not live for more than 8 years. Those who have lived for more than 8, God has been graceful to them. And they don't get the attention they ought to get. They are treated as if they are disabled. They are treated badly and don't get any recognition. I would urge you to have a motion, get some way where we can have cerebral palsy in part of maternal health care, in the health bill also, as a subject that is touching on the pregnancy of women and having every hospital with an ultrasound machine. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for that information, Senator Mutula. Very few senators have been to the labor ward, but you have been in the labor room. Yes. Thank you. Senator Mary Yane, take the shortest time possible, please, because another senator wants to tell us his experience.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for also giving me a chance to congratulate Senator Musurufe for having thought of this very vulnerable group. Madam Speaker, as my other colleagues have said, this is the most vulnerable group of persons with disability that are forgotten. I actually want to join other mothers by celebrating the mothers with this nature of children. Madam Speaker, if a mother gets such a child, you'll never go anywhere. You'll be reduced to just taking care of this child forever. These are mothers who will not be able to take these children to school. They cannot take them anywhere. They grow that way. Some of them will not even be able to talk. Some of them are not able to hear. This child just becomes a total burden of a parent forever. And many of our facilities, many of our counties, many of our health care institutions have no care for these particular children with cerebral palsy. So I think I concur with her in a statement that we need to go further in terms of giving awareness of what these mothers should get in terms of other services, what these children should get. We should go further in terms of making policies that can help this particular type of children. Madam Speaker, I of course want to request you to give me a minute to also congratulate Senator Agnes Muthama. I didn't get a chance. She is a neighbor of mine from Machakos County. You know, Kajiado County is neighboring Machakos County. And on behalf of all the women of Kajiado County, we want to congratulate you. And we have also learned quite a lot from you, and especially in terms of campaign, issue-based campaigns. I was looking at your campaigns in church, in all forums, and you are really having a campaign that are on issue-based. And we want to congratulate you, and we want to thank God for you, and we want to really thank the people of Machakos for having stood with one of our own, a woman. Despite the fact that we were not coming from the same the political party or affiliation, but I want to congratulate you as a woman. We are indeed happy, and as a country, we are really happy. Even further, this is a celebration month for us, Madam Speaker, remembering that also we are neighboring Tanzania, and we now have a neighbor president, Madam President. So we are indeed blessed this month, and so the women of this country have something to celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Finally, Senator Moses Wetangula.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I'll be very brief. I want to thank Senator Musurube for that statement, and like those who spoke before me, encourage her to go beyond this. She's been very passionate about disability issues, and I stand here, Madam Speaker, to speak because I have an experience in these matters of cerebral palsy. My own mother lost 2 children in the 60s, a sister and a brother, who suffered from what I now know was cerebral palsy, but we didn't know because the level of awareness was very low. And in my earlier years, together with this Vice President Moody Awori, we did a lot of work with Amos Wako in trying to help. Even the fundraising that Wako is talking about, Moody Awori and I participated in trying to help children with this condition. It is important, Madam Speaker, that we bring this to a national conversation where, as we deal with children with physical disabilities, with seeing disabilities, that children suffering from cerebral palsy are also attended to by the state as people who need special attention, special care, and special help. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I think we congratulate Senator Musurube and encourage her to look into it further, as has been said. I want to join my colleagues in saying that this is a group that can be helped. I had a student who had cerebral palsy, and we took care of him through the first degree. He managed to go for master's. He went for his PhD. Now he's a professor in a university. So it is possible to help them. Depending on the levels that he has defined for us, today I can see there are different types and different levels. I am also taking care of one other cerebral palsy candidate called Kemboy, who is doing very well, and he's now in college. So it is possible to help them, and colleagues, let's look out for them and we shall help them. Honorable Senators, we now go to statements. Pass one to Standing Order 51-1A, and we have two statements, and then I'll make a statement on the next statements. These are updates, so they should take 2 minutes each. The chairperson of the Standing Committee on Labor, Social Welfare, should make a statement concerning the status of Inua Jamii programs. Senator Sakaja.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, first you'll be pleased to note that it is not just Mutula who has been to the Labour Ward. Madam Speaker, on the 14th of March 2012, on the 11th of August 2013, on the 12th of May 2019, for both my sons and my daughter, I was there inside the Labour Ward. And for the rest, I'm going to have, because we were told to multiply.
Congratulations, Senator.
Yeah.
We are happy.
And for the others who are coming, I will always be there. Madam Speaker, allow me to also, as the Speaker said earlier, that we can take this opportunity. Allow me to take the opportunity to congratulate my neighbor, because Machakos neighbors Nairobi County, Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama, for being elected. Madam Speaker, as was said earlier by Senator Omanga from my Nairobi delegation, Senator Muthama was a Jubilee member, and she's on loan to Wiper, but she is still ours. And so we're very proud of that election. And the election is the first election of many that has shown the unity, what unity can do. We saw party leaders together. Senator Wetangula was there with his Fort Kenya troop. Honorable His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi was there with the ANC troop. Gideon Moi was in support. And maybe that is why today her jacket is very colorful. She's wearing all the party colors that represent all those parties. But I don't know what the yellow represents. But it is cumbersome. That is a cumbersome. So we are grateful. We are proud you've come. You've set the tone. You showed that you can have a campaign that is not about tribe, but about issues, not about insults, but about encouragement. And that signals a new way of doing our politics. And that is what we've always been doing. My slogan has always been Siasa Safi, that you don't have to return an insult with an insult, but rather with an encouragement. So congratulations, Honorable Kavindu. And it is a good thing for women. We've achieved the gender parity. And Madam Speaker, we've seen the women celebrating. Our claim to democracy is tainted when half of the team is not on the pitch. And that is why we have men in this house who support gender parity. And that's what I'd like to advise the ladies. Because today you all came with shukas. This fight you will not win on your own. You must involve the men. The only man with a shuka was Ledama. And that is because he wears the Masai shukas. But there's something called he for she. Because this fight for gender parity must be won by both men and women. And you can count on us for that. So, Hongera, Senator Muthama. Madam Speaker, pass you on to Standing Order 51-1, which provides that a chairperson can make a statement on a matter for which the committee is responsible. I'd like to make a statement on the Inua Jamii programs as a follow-up of the House's last discussion on this matter. At the sitting of the Senate on Tuesday, the 2nd day of March 2021, I informed the House, by leave of my committee, that we had received communication from the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, the State Department of Social Protection, regarding the payment drive to beneficiaries under the Inua Jamii programs that had commenced on the 22nd of February 2021. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, senators urged the committee to get more details on the matter, and I wish to inform the House that we have invited the Cabinet Secretary, Labor and Social Protection, together with his PS of the State Department, to come and shed light on the following matters. Number one, a briefing on the payment process that commenced on the 22nd of February, and I had given the amount, it was close to 8 billion, on the challenges encountered and whether they achieved 100% success. Two, the institutional framework that is in place to implement each of the programs, including the criteria for selection to the programs, the implementation framework, and monitoring and evaluation of these programs. See how far the State Department is in the registration of older persons of society on the National Hospital Insurance Fund to take care of their medical needs. These were concerns that were raised by senators when I gave the statement. For a comprehensive report on the disbursements of the latest program, including details of disbursements under each program broken down to counties, so that each senator knows what is happening in their specific county and constituency level, the names, criteria used to select, the amount given, and historical information on the disbursements and beneficiaries. How the State Department is planning to manage the transition of some of the beneficiaries of the program, that is orphans and vulnerable children. F, what the department has done in creating databases of these special interest groups, how it manages to clean the data, for example, when an older person dies or a child reaches the age of 18, and also how then they coordinate with county government so that we don't have duplication of two levels of government doing the same thing and getting credit or using it to account, yet it is being done by another arm of government. And the tentative dates for the next recruitment. Madam Speaker, with your kind permission, I want to invite senators to a virtual meeting of the Senate Labour Committee. Madam Speaker, because of the spike in the numbers of COVID, even today at the SBC, we discussed that we need to reduce physical engagements. And we earlier had invited the CS to a physical meeting here for all senators to come and raise questions. But because of the new protocol based on the spike of the third wave, I hereby invite senators to a virtual meeting of the Committee of Labor, Social Welfare, with the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection tomorrow, Wednesday, the 24th of March at 9 a.m. The login details will be shared. I'll share that on our platform, on the Senate Business platform. Madam Speaker, the credentials will be there, and members will get a chance to seek clarifications from the CS and the team. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The next status report is from the Chair of the Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights on the status of the BBI. Senator Okongo Mugeni.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 51-1 to give an update on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. Madam Speaker, following directives of the two speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate, the Departmental Committee of Justice, Legal Affairs of the National Assembly and the Senate held meetings to consider the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. Madam Speaker, following our meetings, both committees received memoranda pursuant to a public invitation on public participation that took place in the sittings that were held in this House on the 12th of March 2021, 16th of March, and 17th of March 2021 to collect views of members of the public. Madam Speaker, the public interest participation attracted a lot of interest, and we received memorandum from citizens of this country, constitutional officers, including IEBC, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Gender Commission, among many others. Thereafter, Madam Speaker, the committee undertook a joint retreat on the 19th of March 2021 to consider the issues that were raised during the public hearing. Madam Speaker, I want to report to the House that after considering the views that were received from the public, the joint committees identified a number of issues in 6 thematic areas that require in-depth consideration by the two committees. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the committees were not able to conclude their consideration of public views and writing of the report on the meeting that was held on the 19th of March 2021. Madam Speaker, bearing in mind that this is the very first time Parliament is processing a bill to amend the Constitution through a popular initiative under Article 257, it is the view of the Joint Committee that this matter should be given due consideration and also, where necessary, get assistance from experts on constitutional matters. Madam Speaker, the committee therefore agreed to adjourn its sittings and resume further sittings on the 26th, 30th, the 26th, 29th, and the 31st of March 2021. Madam Speaker, I want to report that this far, the meetings that have been held by the Joint Committee have been collegial and egalitarian, with a single purpose of midwifing this process forward. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the two committees, I want to assure the country that it is the intention and hope of this committee that this process will be midwifed, taking into account the fact that the two committees have one of the most experienced legal minds in this House. Therefore, Madam Speaker, this update is to seek an extension from the Speaker and request that the committee tables a report of the joint committees before this House on the 6th of April 2021. Madam Speaker, I want to assure the country and the promoters of the BBI that there is no intention whatsoever by the two joint committees to scuttle the BBI process, but we want to undertake a process, Madam Speaker, that can stand any constitutional test. Madam Speaker, let's bear in mind that any process that we undertake as Parliament is subject to the supervisory jurisdiction of the High Court. Madam Speaker, already arising from a similar process that was undertaken by the County Assembly of Tana River, the High Court has nullified the proceedings that took place before the County Assembly of Tana River. Therefore, I want to urge members to give this committee and the Parliament an opportunity to interrogate the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 and go through a process that can withstand any constitutional challenge. So, Madam Speaker, we beg that time for presenting the joint report of the two committees be extended to the 6th of April 2021. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I send an intervention from Senator James Orengo.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to join the co-chairman of this joint committee in the the request that the committee be given more time to come up with a report. And Madam Speaker, if you may allow me to say so, nobody in this country should say that the role of Parliament is ceremonial. You cannot have a provision in the Constitution where Parliament is required to conduct business or a transaction for ceremonial purposes. The fact that Parliament is involved in this process, in fact, Parliament is one of the few institutions which is involved in the parliamentary process and in the popular initiative, and it is not for nothing. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I would want to urge those people who want to imagine that there's a crisis in the committee. There is nothing like that. If the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission can take a position on some matters, Parliament requires an answer to be given to that representation made by the IEBC. The Kenya National Bureau of Standards took certain positions which they made out to Parliament, and Parliament must answer those questions. Madam Speaker, I'm saying this because, you know, if you go to the record of the committee, to the report of the Committee of Experts, Madam Speaker, I want the chair to listen to me as I say this, because he's the one who brought up this issue. If you go to the Committee of Experts, the way they conducted their business, almost on every issue, on every article in the Constitution, there's literature backing the position that they took. The shame of the parliamentary process during the constitution-making process, which came to this parliament, was that in our debates, if you go to the Hansard and the records, the public would not be able to understand the position taken by Parliament in 2010. And therefore, this time around, we should not allow a position where Parliament is going to give a report to this House, which treated our role as purely ceremonial. I want to assure you, Madam Speaker, that in the deliberations of the Joint Committee, and I was there was no single issue on which members of the committee differed. Not even a single issue. We agreed on what to do, but generally said there are two components of the report that we are required to bring before Parliament. One is on the process. We must answer that question. Are we on the right track? Because it's a question that has arisen out there in the public, in the courts, and Parliament must speak to it. Secondly, is the issue of content. And even on that issue of content, Parliament must give an answer. And Madam Speaker, I always regret the fact that when we were turning this great nation to one-party system, you know, nobody was heard. Nobody was heard. In fact, if the matter had gone to the public and was informed by the public, the result would have been different. Now, members of the public have spoken, county assemblies have spoken, government institutions have spoken. Why do they expect Parliament just to become a voting machine? And we are an important arm of government. So I would plead for people who are making commentary on this process to be very, very patient with Parliament. We know the timelines, and we know our duty. Today we swore in a new senator, and she swore a constitutional oath. And we are aware of what that oath requires of us. And I hope that, in fact, when the deliberations come before the Senate, each single senator who wants to be heard should be heard on this very important question. And we have a very able chairman. And Chairman, I want to remind you that if you read the deliberations, either in committee or even the literature around constitution making in America more than 200 years ago, it's those who said something that are remembered, not those who kept quiet. And those who said in Parliament or in the proceedings, whenever they took place, those who wrote about it like Hamilton and Madison, we quote them to do it today for purposes of constitutional interpretation and the thoughts that were there around the American Constitution. So I can tell you, next time we are going to interpret the Constitution, people will want to hear, when they were discussing this process, what did Senator Mutula or Senator Murkomen say about it? To help, because the Supreme Court has said in interpreting the Constitution, you must be contextual. You must take into account what happened when the process was going on. And therefore, I hope that this process is going to go to a successful conclusion, and nobody is opposing the process, but we must not be seen to be just be voting machines. I'm not ready to do that. Not this time, never.
Senator Orengo, you have not said whether you are supporting the extension, because the chair has crafted an extension.
Madam Speaker, you know, when I was urging you to extend, the chairman and the clerk were busy talking to you. That's why I pleaded, because my case was to the chair, but the chair was engaged.
Thank you, Senator. I know this committee was formed through a communication. It was not a motion. But because of the request for extension, we are now going different way to see how we can assist in extending through everybody's participation. That's why we are allowing a few comments on it. Senator Murkomen or Nesma Skipchumba.
Madam Speaker, I rise to support the request by the chair for extension of time for the committee to deliberate on this very important matter. First of all, Madam Chair, it is in public domain that I am part of the group in this republic that think, or all still think, that this is not the time to amend our constitution. But I do not have the luxury, Madam Speaker, to watch the process and abstain from this very important process because I have a constitutional duty to contribute to this process of amending our constitution. And therefore, since it's a matter of course, it's a must for us to participate in this process because others have initiated, it has come to this House, I want to thank the chair and I want to thank Senator Orengo and the rest of the committee members for locating the place of Parliament and the place and the institution of the Senate in terms of its contribution to this process. I am of the school of thought that believes that the process and the content of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 is subject to deliberations by this House, and it's subject to the decision that is going to be made by this House. And we are not a rubber stamp. I believe, Madam Speaker, and I can see the changeover to the new speaker, to the Senator Maura, that, Madam Speaker, I believe that this House has the responsibility to advise the country before we talk about referendum as to whether it is right for us to go to a referendum with certain issues contained in that bill. And we have also a responsibility to ensure that there is a harmony of the Constitution, of the various provisions of the Constitution. And there are many examples that are being given to the committee, including by IEBC on the limitation of boundaries, among others. I believe that this House will have to give proper advice to the, those who are promoters of this bill as to whether or not we should be able to go to referendum with the bill as it is. Madam Speaker, I believe also that as a senator who has opposed amending of the Constitution at this point in time, that given a chance to participate in this process, and all of us participating in this House, without looking at this group or the other group, I believe that our contribution, including my contribution, may become of great value to the Senate and to the promoters of the amendment bill as to what kind of Kenya we're going to have. I have said this before informally, and I want to say on the floor of this House that when the day comes for deliberating and debating this very important motion, I hope no one will come to this House and say every senator has 2 minutes or 3 minutes. In fact, to the contrary, instead of using the 15 or 20 minutes we usually use here, we should actually increase the time to every senator to 30 minutes so that we can record our observations and our views and our thoughts, Madam Speaker, and now Mr. Speaker, on the concerns we have about this bill. I totally agree with Senate Minority Leader Senator Orengo that 50 years, 100 years to come, Kenyans will want to know what were the thoughts of Murkomen, what were the thoughts of Sakaja, what were the thoughts of Attorney General Emeritus, what were the thoughts of Wetangula, Senator Wetangula, in terms of amending this constitution. It is sad in the past that we've had as this House to rubber stamp things. I hope this is not one of them. We are going to rise above our sectarian political sides. We are, as a group of Hustler Nation, has always said, Mr. Speaker, that we are ready for a conversation, for consultation, for a win-win approach to this process of amending our constitution. And I don't think there is a better institution for achieving that win-win approach than the floor of this House. Mr. Speaker, I want to be very grateful that we have this opportunity to engage. And I believe and I promise that I hope we will close ranks across the aisle, sit down together, forget about the factions that are taking place on this side of the House of Jubilee, and sit down, all of us, to agree on the way forward on the amending the Constitution. On the question of amending the Constitution, we are discussing this issue, Mr. Speaker, at a time when we are also discussing about achieving gender parity. And since I didn't get the time to say this, I want to congratulate Senator Agnes Muthama, Mr. Speaker, for her election. I went to Machakos, campaigned against her. I stood firm and said I would prefer her son to be elected, who was called Ngengele, and then so that then he can come here and he can take care of his mother. But the people of Machakos say they want the mother. And that's how they ended up electing Senator Agnes Muthama and brought her here. Now that she's here, Mr. Speaker, and Senator Mutula Kalonzo should not be too excited, because as you know, Mr. Speaker, Senator Muthama was our candidate in 2017. We prepared her, we shaped her, all that happened. Finally, Wiper came to inherit her, Mr. Speaker, and finally delivered her to this House. And since that has happened, this House now becomes the first chambers of parliament since independence to achieve a third or a two-third gender rule. And I am glad that I belong to a party called Jubilee and UDA, Mr. Speaker, who became the pioneers insofar as the election, Madam Speaker, of the first women to this House. Senator Fatuma Dulo here, who is a member, who is the only senator elected in UDA, and the first senator woman from the north to be elected to this House, Mr. Speaker, comes from the UDA party, the Wheelbarrow party, Mr. Speaker. Senator Margaret Kamar, my neighbor, and Mr. Speaker, whom I am the senator of our mother, Mr. Speaker, comes from Jubilee and my neighbor. Senator Kihika comes from Jubilee, our friend, and Mr. Speaker, believes in the ideals of the Hustler Nation. They are all elected from this side. So it means if we can have more time to look at this constitutional amendment process, we can achieve a conversation that will ensure that this House achieves a third gender rule, but allows also the National Assembly to have an opportunity to elect women to that chamber that are also going to contribute to a third gender rule without really having over 100 people being nominated to Parliament. That is the kind of conversation I look forward that we are going to have that conversation. And I want to ask Senator Agnes Muthama to work so hard in this remaining 1 year so that a woman, either herself or another woman, is elected from Machakos again to come here, so that we move forward. We don't move backwards in terms of election of women to Parliament. And it is possible, it is achievable. And I want to ask those who are in the committee to be willing to listen to us, to have this conversation on how we can make this House gender compliant, but assist also National Assembly with the participation of Kenyans, not nomination of party leaders, to elect people to National Assembly that can achieve a third gender rule. I want to assure you, Senate Minority Leader, Senator Orengo, I know we disagree politically. You are on the other side of political aisle, but I want to assure you that should the opportunity come for us to have a conversation on this bill, I am willing to sit with you on the same round table to hammer a consensus, which is...
Senator Wango, tafadhali.
I believe I heard Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, Senator, eminent lawyer, say that he belongs to Jubilee Party and order. Is that in order? No. I believe that under our constitution and under our laws, you are supposed to belong to only one party and not two. And if he actually belongs to two, can he tell us which party he prefers of the two? Because you cannot serve God and Mammon. You will either love one and hate the other.
Asante sana, Senator Wetangula. You notice that when Senator Wako was on his point of order, Senator Murkomen was actually standing there gesturing. That is not part of our standing orders. The moment a member says point of order, the member on the floor takes a seat. And Senator Murkomen has been very good at this. I don't know why he's degenerating.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Wetangula used to raise very serious point of orders. I don't know when he degenerated to such minute issues on the floor of the House. Be it as it may, I think in all fairness, I can confidently say, Mr. Speaker, that I belong to both UDA and Jubilee Party. And this is the explanation. That, Mr. Speaker, I was elected to this House under Jubilee Party of Kenya. And Mr. Speaker, in that Jubilee Party, we signed a coalition agreement before even my election with the UDA. So when I arrived at this House, I became the majority leader, and the UDA senator became the deputy majority leader. And we have worked together since then. So I am in support of both parties. And there is no contradiction at all insofar as the same issue. In fact, if Senator Wako, I'm surprised the senior counsel has not read the relevant provisions of the Constitution that talks about you either belong to a party or a coalition of parties. And I'm part of that coalition that brings together Jubilee and UDA, Mr. Speaker. And I don't know why Senator Mutula is shaking his head, because, Mr. Speaker, he has been knocking the door. He signed a cooperation agreement with Jubilee, wants also to join UDA and Jubilee, Mr. Speaker. So he should understand and appreciate that coalition. When I talk about I belong to the Jubilee coalition includes the United Democratic Alliance, which is the Wheelbarrow Party, which is the ASLA movement, Mr. Speaker, which I'm very proud to be part and parcel of that movement. I was concluding by saying, Mr. Speaker, and which, by the way, Senator Orengo?
Mr. Speaker, the issue that has been raised by Senator Wako is very critical and is foundational on how our multi-party democracy operates. You can be a member of a political party which belongs to a coalition. For example, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Mutula Kalonzo is a member of the Jubilee Party, which is a member of a coalition. No, he's a member of WIPA, but he can be a member of NASA coalition. He can be a member of a Jubilee coalition. But you cannot be a member of two distinct parties, because Jubilee is a distinct party. And Senator Fobaringo will tell you that he's a member of KANU, but he's not a member of Jubilee. I would dare Senator Murkomen repeat what he's saying on the floor, that is a member of Jubilee Party and a member of UDA, and be ready to take the consequences. I dare him say that he's a member of UDA Party and a member of the Jubilee Party. Not a sympathizer. I dare him say that, because then what follows, for good order, can be taken at the appropriate forum.
Senator Murkomen, unaweza kumalizia? Senator Orengo, I can say I'm a member of UDA without any consequence. Nobody can dare to bring anything against me. It's only Senator Maura and the other nominated senators they like harassing. But be that as it may, I am a member of Jubilee coalition, where UDA is a member, and I'm a total sympathizer of UDA party, together with all its philosophy and manifesto, and the ASLA and the Wheelbarrow movement, Mr. Speaker, and I also believe in Tuko Pamoja, which is bringing people together. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, so that I don't take a long time, in conclusion, I'd like to say that I was telling Senator Orengo, which was the most important part of my communication, that although we disagree politically, and we are in the, Mr. Speaker, Senator Orengo may be happy to listen to this. Senator Orengo, you know, ODM party, after ODM party, it's only ODM party and the sympathizers of the wheelbarrow movement who enjoy the majority of this house. On your side, it's ODM which calls the shots. And I've always said, even though I disagree with the former Prime Minister, I have requested the parties that work in the NASA coalition or NASA coalition to respect ODM. Because, Mr. Speaker, I did my arithmetic the other day. I realized that Fort Kenya has 1 member of Senate. Wiper has only 3 members of Senate elected. Kanu has only 2. And Mr. Speaker, Amani has only 2, but 1 is already ODM sympathizer. So I respect the ODM party as the second largest party in this house. But if you bring, Mr. Speaker, the Hustler movement here, it's only ODM and Hustler movement who can think about one single party majority in this house. And so, even though our ideologies differ, even though we do not agree, and we will have fierce competition next year, I believe on the constitutional review process, and I promise Senator Orengo, if there will be a time that will be asked to sit down on the round table to achieve a win-win approach, so that we go to the uncontested referendum, to sit on the round table to agree on issues, I promise that those of us who on this side subscribe to the hustler ideology are going to bring ourselves to that table, and we are ready and willing to hammer and discuss the issues that are there for us to move forward as one united country and a one team. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante sana. Nafikiri huo ni mchakato ambao utaendelea. Sisi ni wanachama wa Jubilee, chama cha Jubilee. Nafikiri miungano ya kisiasa, mirengo ya kisiasa inaendelea kuibuka, lakini hapa naona kwamba kuna maseneta wengi sana ambao wangelipenda kuzungumza. Na muda umeyoyoma kwa sababu bado tuko na hoja tofauti. Ngoja kidogo tu niweze kuelezea. Kwa hiyo nafikiri naomba kama inawezekana, kwa sababu tunafaa kuwa na kikao kimoja peke yake cha bunge hili la Seneti kama tutaidhinisha, lakini kwa vile ambavyo hata bado tujaweza kupatiana rambirambi zetu kwa aliyetuacha Mheshimiwa Rais Pombe Magufuli, na hapa nina maseneta 10 ambao wataka kuzungumzia jambo hili. Sijui tupunguze muda wa kila seneta ama tupunguze muda. Dakika ngapi? 3? Dakika 3, sivyo? Basi tufanye dakika 3. Kabla hoja ya nidhamu, kiongozi walio wachache, dakika 3.
Mr. Speaker, and I want the clerk to hear this because it may guide us. The debate on the former president of Tanzania, John Pombe Magufuli, is not something that we want to do without sufficient decorum and have a proper, debate for those who wanted really to contribute on this matter. And there are quite a number. We have been waiting here. And we have got only 30 minutes for somebody to move second, and we took the device of a motion so that at the end of it, the debates, the record, the Hansard, will be handed over to the Tanzanian High Commission. I'm saying, although we got only one day for 2 sittings, that we defer the debate on the motion on the former the late president of Tanzania to next week. But give it, I've been sitting here really pleading that this was a matter which we really needed to discuss properly. But seeing what happened in Tanzania, how the members of parliament debated on this issue, although informally, I think if they see us rush and we do not act as if we know the former president, I don't think we'll be doing it the greatest honor. And therefore, I urge you to administratively defer this debate to next week. I know by then the president would have been buried, but it will not be too late to do it with dignity.
Senator Wetangula.
I want to urge the leadership, Senator Orengo included, that since the motion for change of calendar has not been moved, you don't move it today, you move it tomorrow, and we dedicate tomorrow to our eulogizing President Magufuli as the only agenda of the day. When we finish, then we move the motion on the change of calendar and adjourn to next week. Then we can be able, Mr. Speaker, I will request that you give me 30 minutes to eulogize President Magufuli. I have worked with him, I've sat in sectoral meetings with him, I have done many things for East Africa with him, and I can't possibly talk about him in 5 minutes. So if you can accede to that, Mr. Speaker, that we have that as the only agenda tomorrow, then Senator Dulo can move the motion on change of calendar tomorrow.
Nafikiri huo ni mwelekeo mwema, sivyo? Ili tusichukue muda mchache tu kwa kiongozi ambaye ni wa hadhi ya juu kama Rais Pombe Magufuli. Kwa hivyo tuendelee na huu mjadala, lakini kuna watu wengi sana maseneta wanataka kuzungumza. Sasa hivi nampa nafasi Seneta Mutula Kalonzo Jr. Na ni dakika 3.
Thank you, Speaker. On the motion of extension, Mr. Speaker, I also sit as a member of the committee, and it surprises me a little when I read some comments elsewhere, which I will not quote, that there are people who think that our role as Senate is perfunctory, which I think is belittling this House. County assemblies had been given 90 days. In fact, in the program of the Constitutional Amendment Bill, we had slotted 45 days for Parliament. We have barely even taken a week. There are members of this Senate who thought there was no reason to do public participation. The members of the committee that sat here were bombarded with legal issues on everything, every little thing, including statistics that Senator Sakaja insisted on population per constituency. Details that have been collected by Kenya National Bureau of Statistics so that we can determine the question of the schedule produced by the steering committee, where happily 2 members, Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama, Kavamama, and Senator Wako sat. So in interrogating those issues, we actually discovered many more things. And speaking to IBC, it appears to us that we must, as responsible, not only responsible senators, but good lawyers, that we must inform this House on the process. It occurs to us also that committee of experts, and we are lucky as a committee that 1 member of the joint committee was a member of COE. We didn't know that there is actually a record of every article in the Constitution, a debate on every article. So in interpreting that statute, so that we can inform the House as to what role the Parliament plays in Article 257 vis-a-vis 256, we have asked for that Hansard. That Hansard is volumes and volumes, and it has been provided. We are going through it, so that when we come and present our report, we will tell you what the intention was in drafting Article 257 in the way it is drafted currently, and many, many other issues. And therefore, and all of us agreed. I'm told that members of the other House, some of them have disagreed with something we all agreed upon. And we did this in the Election Laws Amendment Bill. We have agreed that we do not have monopoly of information and monopoly of knowledge. So the committee has also engaged experts, who experts will come and interrogate some of the things that we are doing so that we can have a good report. We had the benefit of those experts in the Election Amendment Laws Bill that came into this House, and therefore the wisdom of having those experts will inform the detailed report on what we intend to do. The BBI steering committee had a schedule of things to do, laws to pass. We are going to go into very greater detail, and a week is not even enough. but we have agreed to take a week, and it's not too much to ask. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And that reason, I think, is good enough for the good lawyers and the senior counsel sitting in that committee to produce a very comprehensive report, not only for the naysayers, even the people who are part of the crusade. Even the people who are in the crusade need more conversion. Thank you.
Asante sana Senator Mutula. Na wale ambao wanachangia, tafadhali ni vizuri mtueleze kama inawezekana kubadilisha rasimu hii ambayo imependekezwa. Kwa hiyo Senator Sakaja.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if the House is informed, especially my chair, that already, and these are the intricacies of dealing with a joint committee, that even as we're seeking this extension, the National Assembly Speaker has ruled that the report be done by the 1st of April. Yet it's a joint report by both houses, Mr. Speaker, meaning that and that is April Fool's Day. I don't know whether that will reflect in the report, but Mr. Speaker, meaning that we need to adjust what we're really asking for from this House. Mr. Speaker, in the process of our discussion, we realized that there are indeed several weighty matters, legal matters, and even political matters that we need to discuss. Mr. Speaker, the first and biggest question is what you're asking: the actual role of Parliament in such a process. And that is what needs determination, because this is a parliamentary, or this is a popular initiative. And Article 254 provides that there are two ways of amending a constitution. Was it 254 or 255? 255. 3, either by Parliament in accordance to 256, or by the people and Parliament. So what we're asking is that, and Parliament, what does it constitute of? If you look at 256 in the parliamentary initiative, Mr. Speaker, it provides for public participation, which is silent in 257. And it provides for how you publish this bill and what happens between second and third reading, including the 90 days, because their Parliament is legislating. So the question we will seek to answer is, in this process in 257, whether Parliament is legislating or processing. Because whether or not the Senate or the National Assembly vote for this bill, because now is when it is a bill, whether or not we vote for it, it goes to a referendum. That is the provision. That is one of the questions that we also need to answer. And also what we want to answer is, if there are provisions that actually do not need a referendum that have been passed through this process, whether if the president assents to that, because 257(9) provides for the presidential assent, whether those sections then are deemed to have been passed, and then the IBC isolates the other matters to go to the people. So these are weighty questions we must ask. But we must give assurance, because I've seen there's already suspicion. We've seen the media in its reports trying to say that the committee is divided. The committee is not divided. We're very clear, we're not trying to delay this process. We just need to answer these weighty questions. There are those with concerns, including my people of Nairobi, about constituencies. Senator Mutula will tell you in the chair that even when KNBS came, they said, leave alone the 29 constituencies that are provided for. Nairobi actually deserves 33. So these discussions must be had, and we must hold forth to discuss, to agree on what our role is. Imagine, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, if by parliamentary, through popular initiative, a Kenyan sought to disband the National Assembly and the Senate, would the National Assembly and the Senate be then allowed to amend that popular initiative? Because Article 1 provides the sovereign power of the people is expressed either directly or through the representatives. The direct expression of the sovereign will of the people is through a plebiscite. And the people can say they want to amend anything that they want to amend. And Parliament cannot stand in the way of whatever the people want to do. So, Mr. Speaker, those are the questions that we'll have to determine, but we want to give assurance to the House and to the promoters that there is no ulterior motive, there is no, because I can see people thinking games are trying to be played. That is neither here nor there. These weighty questions in a precedent setting, the first time, this is the first amendment, these weighty questions must be answered and determination be made. So in future, in 30 years, people can be guided when there's another similar initiative that comes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Asante sana Senator Sakaja, na kwa sababu pia sijachukua muda huu, niseme Senator Agnes Muthama, hongera sana kwa kushinda uchaguzi wa Machakos. Tulikuwa na wewe ulipokuwa katika chama cha Jubilee na bado ulikuwa umepata kura nyingi sana. Kwa hiyo umeongeza tu kidogo, na karibu katika hii nyumba yetu ambayo pia tunamcha Mungu. Tafadhali ningependa kusema kwamba tumeweza kuwasiliana na viongozi, na kwa sababu ya muda hoja ya nambari 8 na 9 zitaweza kushughulikiwa kesho kwa sababu ya muda. Sasa hivi nitampa nafasi Senator Moses Wetangula.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support the chairman of the legal committee and his team in requesting for more time. Because, Mr. Speaker, the process of changing constitution, and this being our first amendment, should be done very carefully, so that whatever we come out with is carrying the aspirations of Kenyans, enjoys the support of Kenyans, and we don't go to a referendum that creates more divisions in the country. Already, county assemblies have passed the bill in their majority, and I want to urge the senior colleagues who are in this committee, Senator Mogeni, Senator Wako, Senator Orengo, Mutula, are you also in that committee? Senator Mutula, that leave nothing to chance, bring everything that Wananchi are telling you in the public hearings, because the centrality of our Constitution 2010, Mr. Speaker, is the participation of the people of this country in everything we do, including, but not limited to, changing the Constitution. And the people who have come before the committee, we have been reading and listening to some of the things they have said, have raised extremely weighty issues. I want to expect that the committee, in preparation of their report, should bring to the House not only a true and honest report of what members of the public, professional bodies and others have told them, but also showing direction. The issues raised by the National Bureau of Statistics on the issue of constituencies, the issue raised by IEBC on the encroachment on its mandate, and many other issues, Mr. Speaker, need to be dealt with so that when we go to the referendum, and we are all ready to go out there and campaign to have these constitutional changes go through, but we must do that with a clean conscience and carry everybody, even the skeptics, like the senator for Elgeyo Marakwet who spoke here and left. We need to convince them that what we are doing is good for everybody, including him. We need, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that the time we are looking for through the committee is in tandem with the operations of the National Assembly, because listen to my distinguished nephew, it does appear like having a joint committee between this house and the lower house is not working, because you cannot have the upper house and the lower house joined committees, and then one house is giving directions without consulting the other. One would expect, Mr. Speaker, that in fact, any communication from the chair, from Speaker Muturi and Speaker Lusaka, should be jointly prepared by the joint committee, so that when they communicate to the houses and the country, they do not cause confusion. Because the reason they are working together is to bring a composite, reasoned and agreed direction that will help the country. The moment we start seeing, Mr. Speaker, the House of Senate taking a direction that looks different and inconsistent with the direction being taken by the National Assembly, then we are sowing seeds of loss going to the future. We want the BBI process to go through. We want the changes to the Constitution to go through. But wherever there is an issue, we must listen to each other and change to the satisfaction of as many, if not the majority of Kenyans, so that we have a constitution that is agreed upon by all, that will serve all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante sana. Sasa hivi nitampatia Seneta Naomi Shionga nafasi na pia niwajulishe bunge la Seneti kwamba tuko katika mchakato wa kubadilisha kanuni zetu za kudumu kwa Kiswahili. Kwa hivyo tunatumai pia maseneta wanaweza kuanza kutumia lugha ya Kiswahili. Kama Seneta Naomi Shionga tunaweza kufurahi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hope my time, you have not eaten in my time, and they will give me that extension of that you used. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, and I want actually to support the extension in time. But before I do that, I would like, if I can take a bit of my time, as one of the senators here, to congratulate Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama. Yes, for her being elected in this Senate. I want to congratulate still the party leader Waiba, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, His Excellency, for having worked tirelessly to bring women on board through what he's doing with the party. And I hope that other parties or party leaders are watching just to copy and paste so that women, we are really uplifted in this particular arena. I want also to thank the people of Machakos for having tirelessly worked around and demonstrating that a woman matters in the not only in the community but in a country and in leadership position. Thank you, Kamama. Thank you and welcome. I am your chair, Keosa, Kenya Women Senators Association, chair lady or chairperson, and I welcome you even in that Keosa so that you feel like you are part of us. We are sound, clever, clean, and sharp ladies in the Senate here, and that is why you are seeing us even extending time to sit in this house and discuss issues of this country, and we are saying that Aluda continue, and you will be blessed. You are a blessed woman, and Kenyan women are blessed. To contribute on what the chair of the Standing Committee, Justice and Legal Affairs and Human Rights on the extension of time, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that the matter before us is very important. The matter of referendum, the matter of PBI, including the thematic areas or the issues that have been raised in this particular bill, or what we are discussing, is very important. And we should not just take it for granted as Kenyans. Kenyans are watching for us to deliver. Through PBI, they are watching for us to make sure that Kenyans get a certified document, an improved document that is supposed to deliver what Kenyans have researched for and what Kenyans are looking forward to be. PBI being one of the documents that we are looking for, I would like to support the extension of time so that this particular committee, let one house not be a superior to this house or to the other house. Senate is a house just like any other house, and we are not going to leave one house to overrule issues that we are seeing that are important to Kenyans. We are a Senate of Kenya, an upper house, and I always say, we are here to deliberate what is important to Kenyans, and let not one speaker take over and assume for all Kenyans. We are here to stand and support all the thematic areas, all the issues and all the concerns that are raised. This is an issue not of a personal intention, but an issue that Kenyans are looking for senators to discuss, deliberate challenges that are facing Kenyans, and we should not leave this one for National Assembly. We should not also leave it for Senate, but a joint committee. One should not look to another as if Kenyans elected weak.
No. Tafadhali kwa sababu ya muda na kuna bado maseneta. No, kuna maseneta ambao muda umeendelea sana. Haya basi dakika moja peke yake.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I was just saying that the opportunity that was taken by Chairlac or has been given by the two committees, it is an opportunity that members need when they bring here feedback. Weighty issues that they are discussing right now, what they have collected from the public, needs to be interrogated, need to be digested, and need to be processed. What are we doing if we give the committee a mandate to deliver to Kenyans? They bring us here matters and then we rubbish it. We give ourselves 1 minute to discuss issues that are going to concern our generations. With this 1 minute, I want to conclude by saying that it is very important for the extension to be given to the joint committee. What they come up with, let us bring it here, discuss, and give genuine product to Kenyans that we are people, we were chosen, and we have a responsibility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante sana Seneta Shionga, lakini ni kukosoa kidogo, wakati Speaker anazungumza hachukui muda wa seneta yote. Sasa hivi nitampatia Seneta Cherargei Simon Kiprotich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From the onset, I want to say I am proud of my successor, Senior Counsel, Senator Okongo Mugeni, the Senator of the great people of Nyamira County. I'm very proud as my successor is doing extremely very well. And the conversation and the public participation we have been following keenly, he has done very well, and we are proud of that. Two things, Mr. Speaker, that I want to mention is that the extension of time is timely. I wish the promoters of BBI would appreciate that this process is so sacrosanct and so sacred that we don't want to reduce it into a process that is so trivial. Colleagues, the process we are discussing about is the future of this country. It is about the posterity of this country. Many years, Mr. Speaker, after this process is concluded, someone will want to check the answer of the Senate and look at what Senate said about this first amendment to the Constitution of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Committee of JLAC that this process should be given enough and sufficient time so that it can allow all of us to converse in this serious moment. I know the promoters of BBI are over ahead of themselves because they have won this process. They don't want any divergent views. They don't want any criticism. They don't want any input because their mind is so set that they believe if they rush this process, Kenyans will not have an opportunity through their representative in this House. Mr. Speaker, the final thing, when you look under Article 258, it says that this bill, after being passed by the county assemblies, it will be introduced in the parliament. So the question is, when it says it is introduced in the parliament, what is the implication? Does it mean we just sit and allow to pass it? Does it mean we must have an input? And I think that is very important. So I agree with the chair of JLAC that let us allow this process to be part of all of us. The promoters of BBI, please, kujeni mdogo mdogo. Don't be in a hurry. Let us listen to every voice. Every voice from Kenyan matters, regardless whether of us are comfortable. And Mr. Speaker, finally I wanted to mention something, if you can allow me 30 seconds. The National Assembly and the Senate must work hand in hand. And I don't know why National Assembly are taking us back. You remember when I was the chair JLAC, we took National Assembly to the High Court, and the court ruled that the National Assembly cannot exist in isolation. Why don't we take this time and work together? Where is the handshake team? Where is the BBI promoters? Why don't you lead in a united report that can be presented in this House? So, Mr. Speaker, I agree that let us move forward as a country, but allow us to have a win-win situation.
Aya, umemaliza muda wako. Sasa hivi tutakuwa na Seneta Madzayo Stewart Wachiro.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kwanza nataka kushukuru sana kwa kutupa fursa hii. Bwana Spika, mambo ambayo ni ya kisheria ni lazima yachukue mkondo wake. Na kama mambo yakiwa ni ya kisheria, lazima taratibu za kisheria zifuatwe. Katika mchakato huu ni kwamba jambo kubwa sana linaloongeleshwa hapa ni jambo ambalo litakuwa sheria zitakazotumika katika siku za usoni ama siku za mbele ama maisha ya mbele kusaidia Wakenya. Mimi kwanza ningependa kumpatia kongole dada yetu ambaye amekuja hivi sasa Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama ni mama mkakamavu sana. Alidhihirisha wazi ya kwamba yeye anaweza kuingia katika ulingo wa siasa, akamenyana na wanaume na hatimaye akawabwaga. Kwa hiyo nataka kupatia kongole sana dadangu kwa kuja hapa bunge la Senate. Ni bunge lenye uzoefu mkubwa sana katika taratibu zake za bunge. Na mijadiliano hapa huwa ni majadiliano mikali, tunakosana, lakini mwisho tunaweka akili pamoja na tunaendelea mbele kisawasawa. Karibu sana dadangu. Bwana Speaker, tunaweza kujua ya kwamba vile kama sheria zinavyotakana kutekelezwa, kuna watu ambao hawakuhusishwa ama Wakenya wote wamehusishwa, na hivi sasa jambo hili liko katika bunge. Bunge ndio kielelezo kikubwa. Tunajua kuna ile wanaita kujumuisha watu wote na kuweza kuongea juu ya mjadala kama huu. Lakini sasa imefika wakati wa kuandika ile ripoti, na ripoti imeandikwa. Hili bunge liko na haki kabisa kuweza kuweka mchango wake hapo ndani. Na muda huo ambao umeombwa na mwenyekiti wa kisheria ni lazima ipewe kipaumbele. Ni muhimu ya kwamba katika hii kamati JLAC ni lazima wapewe muda ili waweze kuchambua na walete ripoti ambayo tutajua iko kisheria, iko sawa na itakubalika, na kwamba mambo yote yatakayopelekwa mbele wakati wa referendum katika hii ripoti ya BBI yatakuwa ni ya kukubalika na Wakenya wote. Kwa hiyo nafikiria ni jambo zuri ya kwamba muda huu uweze kupatikana. Shukran sana Bwana Speaker.
Asante sana. Senator Milgo Alice Chepkorir. Nitakupatia dakika 4 tafadhali.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me also take this opportunity to support this motion of extension to the Chela Committee that is requested because of the fact that what we are speaking to right now is a very contentious issue or a very weighty matter in terms of the fact that the very reason why we have the Amendment Bill 2020 is because of the fact that this country has had a lot of challenges. First, when it comes to elections, and even in terms of revenue sharing. I think when we are talking about constituencies, we are talking about revenue sharing, and that is how in this case, we are having the 70 constituencies. In addition to that one, as in terms of gender parity, we've been having a great challenge. And I think we need to speak to the many issues that are contentious in this. Maybe the reason why we have been having a number of challenges, Mr. Speaker, is because during the 2010 Constitution, because we were watching, we did realize that there were many people who still wanted to speak to that, but then nobody was listening. But then right now, this one has been said to come and to build bridges, and at the same time, to ensure that Parliament will not be disbanded again. I think we have just been able to survive by a whisker because this Parliament was going to be disbanded, and in this case, we have got to speak to these matters very critically, so that come the future, Parliament cannot be left out. Mr. Speaker, sir, I do not understand the reason why we are having two committees speaking to this, and yet one house is already actually agreeing to fast, but I would have imagined that there should have been some suggestion so that we agree to it. I'm sure the 6th April is not far, because I was following the proceedings, and I did realize that even IPC itself had some very serious issues that they presented, and I think that should be listened to. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, before I finish my speech, I want to really congratulate Madam Agnes Kavindu for really making it to the Senate. I saw your campaigns that were very mature. Actually, as women, we pass through a lot of challenges. And in most cases, one must, in this case, bring about the issue of a family, because they know that that one will go down to bring a woman down. But then you displayed maturity. There is one thing that you mentioned about family that actually touched the hearts of people. And I want to say you showed and displayed to the world that whether women will have been pushed up to the wall, what happened is that they'll still be very patient and they'll still be respectful. And we want to say that thank you so much, Madam Senator Kavindu. You're most welcome. You're making our house warmer again, being the fourth woman senator to be elected. You have already shown us the way, and we are going to work hard. We saw your mature politics, and we are going to follow in that. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I want to say once again, I think CHELAC should be given sufficient time to look at the contentious issues and in this case manage to bring to this House what is acceptable to all. Thank you.
Senator Musuruve.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to actually comment on this issue. I would like to commend the issue of extension, and I support that there's need for extension of this report to be brought to the Senate. And I want to thank Senator Mogeni as chair of JLAC and his committee for what they're doing, and even in public participation. And by the way, Speaker, when it comes to public participation, it is actually a constitutional requirement and right. So there's need for this committee to really analyze the information that they got from the public and see really truly what Kenyans really want, because we want a document that is acceptable by all Kenyans. And also, Honorable Speaker, for the purpose of posterity of this, of the people of this country, there's need to just set a precedence that indeed Kenyans have been represented the way they want to be represented. And also, Honorable Speaker, even for the issues that Tony in the report, I'm sure the committee, the JLA committee, is going to look at the thorny issues and see how to balance so that, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the floor of this House, we are able to speak on issues that will affect and impact Kenyans positively, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity.
Senator, sidhani kuna hoja nyingine yoyote. Kwa hivyo huu mjadala, kwa sababu ulitokana na ujumbe wa speaker, haukuwa na muda. Lakini naelekeza kwamba kamati hii ya pamoja isiweze kuchukua muda mwingi. Kama mnaweza kumaliza kabla ya tarehe 6 Aprili ni sawa. Lakini tujue kwamba kuna mikakati mingine ambayo inafaa kuangaziwa, kwa hiyo tutawapatia muda zaidi. Maseneta,